Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Sorry, my sound was off. I am just waiting for TikTok to give me my flag for unoriginal content, and then I'll yell at them for a minute, and then we'll go from there. We're starting back in with Rick Chow today. We are almost through day 2. We have, I believe, 1 witness left on day 2, and then day 3, and then the 4th day is the day that they have the verdict. So we'll run through that as well. If you don't remember, this is the case where Rick Chow, a convenience store owner, unalived Cyrus Belton and claimed it was in self-defense, even though he chased him and alleged that he was stealing. So that's where we're at. Give me 1 sec. Just got to appeal this real quick because TikTok hates me. Let's see, submit. Okay, any hoodle. So we're back in with Rick Chow today. Again, he was the convenience store worker who said he unalived a young 14-year-old boy in self-defense despite shooting him in the fucking back. So that's where we're at today. We're going to continue on with this. Hopefully some of my attorney friends will be in here soon. I believe Law of the Wild will be joining us. He's been really great about joining these with us. Who thinks they're above the law and have no respect for society? Beachbody. That's exactly the point. This man claimed self-defense when he shot a 14-year-old boy in the back, alleging that he stole water, even though his camera system shows he stole nothing. Fucking crazy shit. Anyway, so I love that you're simping for the guy who does that. That's cool. You like people who murder children. I love that for you. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start now.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony shall give in this case the truth and whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you for testifying in the witness stand and stand testifying for the record. And please spell your last name.
Sure. Amy Durso, D-U-R-S-O.
Dr. Durso, where are you employed?
I'm currently employed by the Medical University of South Carolina as a forensic pathologist.
What is forensic pathology?
So forensic pathologists are medical doctors. We go through medical school and we go through pathology training, but we're specifically trained to do autopsies, so to look at bodies after death, to determine the cause and manner of death, and also we're educated about patterns of injuries.
Just for clarity, when you pop into my DMs asking me to peg you, I'll make sure that I post those for everybody to see. Thank you so much. I'm just not that fucking desperate, beach bod.
And different mechanisms of death.
Okay. You perform autopsies on people who have passed away to determine cause and manner of death is what you testified to?
Yes.
Logic Al is asking, if the jury knew about Mr. Chow's 2 previous incidents, do you believe the verdict would have been different? So here's the thing. If they're more prejudicial than probative, they're not going to include them. I would think about it in the same way I would think about Alex Preddy's previous incident with police. While it certainly may say something, it doesn't speak to this event in particular. So no, I doubt it. And I doubt they would have admitted it. It really would have been more prejudicial than probative.
Approximately how many autopsies have you done?
I'm up over 4,000.
And you are a medical doctor?
Yes, I have a medical degree.
And how many times do you think you've been qualified as an expert?
So is this a medical examiner? What are we doing here?
I find that expert testimony is necessary to assist the jury in resolving factual questions. Dr. Durso is qualified in the theory of forensic pathology. The methodology and testimony is reliable, ladies and gentlemen. The same applies to what I told you earlier. Dr. Durso has been qualified as an expert in the area of forensic pathology. You can accept her testimony and opinion and give it whatever way you deem necessary during your deliberation. Mr. Scott.
Dr. Durso, did you have occasion to perform an autopsy on Cyrus Carmack Belton on May 29th of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. Let me start with a couple of questions. What do your notes show that Mr. Belton, what was his weight?
Mr. Belton weighed 114 pounds.
Okay. And it looks like he was about 5'6". Does that sound right?
I have him as 5'8", but
68 inches in your.
yeah.
Okay. 5'8", 114 pounds.
Yes.
And his listed age?
Is 14 years old.
Okay. Initially, when you examine that body, what was the first thing you do?
So the coroner's office identifies the body, brings it out, and then we look at the outside of the body and we notate everything: eye color, hair color, scars, tattoos, any injuries, height, weight, post-mortem changes, and after we complete that, we start opening the body and looking at all the internal organs.
Okay. Initially, what were your observations before you began dissection?
The most notable finding was a gunshot wound entering his right back.
Okay. What about other superficial type wounds?
There was a partially healed injury on his right hand, and there were some abrasions on his right lower leg.
I want to show you stage 77. Does that accurately reflect the
I think
abrasions
this
on
may
his
be
leg?
the prosecution's last witness, if I had to speculate.
Okay. And did these appear to be recent wounds?
Yes.
Okay. The location of the wound on his back, say that
Good
one more
job,
time.
Beach Spot.
It was on
Walking
his
that
kind of
way.
right back area, just below kind of mid-back.
Okay, and that states 80. Does that fairly and accurately represent what you yourself witnessed?
Yes.
Okay. I want to show you what's been introduced, state 79. Do you recognize that?
Yes, this is a photo of one of the x-rays we took before we started the autopsy. So before we do autopsies on gunshot wounds, we x-ray the body to make sure we know where the bullet is, if there's a bullet in them, to make sure we recover that so we can hand it over to law enforcement. He's on his side.
Okay, I was about to say, where his head would be to the right of the screen?
Yes, his head's to the right, his legs are to the left.
Okay, yeah, and I guess his buttocks would be at the bottom left corner there.
Correct.
Okay.
And he's kind of boosted up on a body block so we can shoot across the table.
And, okay. Dr. Durst, what is this object right here that we're seeing? You say 79?
That's the projectile we recovered from the body autopsy.
Okay. And this is just this is an angle, different angle, but this is state 8. Do you recognize that?
Yes, that's upside down. But this is an x-ray going front to back of the body, again showing where the projectile is located. So it's just left of midline, as you can see.
83 is not in but we're all from state 83 for admission now. No, okay.
Already been admitted to state 83.
Okay, this is a little, can you say 83 again?
Let's pause right here. This is just below, it looks like it may have gotten the heart, but from what I can look at, just below the heart, puncturing the lung. Looks like it's above the diaphragm and stomach. This is oof.
This is what?
That's the projectile, and you can see the shadow of his heart
I
just
don't
above
think
that.
This is his heart?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. That's what I was saying. This is right here. You're seeing the heart. It looks like where the bullet entry is just below the heart, puncturing the lung and just above the though it may have perforated the diaphragm as well as the bottom of the heart. We'll see what she says, but just so you can tell, like that brighter spot right under the heart, that's where you're seeing the bullet.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but his head would be, this is basically looking at his head being up,
Correct.
being down. I even see, I think, an arm right here.
Yes.
What were your general findings as far as the bullet wound? Did it have an exit?
It did not exit, no.
Okay. Let me show you, it hasn't been introduced yet, but
I think the firearms person, I can't think of the name right now. I believe the firearms person earlier told us that this was a hollow point. Why is that important? Hollow points can do a considerable amount of damage once they puncture because they kind of like splay out like this is no good. This is not bueno.
do you often, or I guess rather, probably all the time, do you draft something like that when you do an autopsy?
It wasn't a
Yes, so we have a
ballistics
stack of blank
expert, it was somebody
male,
who works
female,
with
all
the
sorts of
PD on
diagrams that we take
firearms.
notes on when we do the autopsy. And then I kind of do my report based on some of the notes I take on there.
Okay. And this is not scale, right? This is just kind
No,
of,
it's a generic male diagram.
you know, state offer, state 73 for Michigan.
No objection.
But the United States 73 without objection.
What were your general findings as far as the, we already said didn't have an exit wound.
Thank you,
but
Michael.
The bullet wound that was found in his back, you said it was his right lower back?
Right, so it's the right lower back. It was just under 2 inches right of midline, 46.5 inches above the heel. It was a classic entrance wound. So entrance wounds have what we call an abrasion collar. So as the bullet enters the skin, it kind of rubs the edge of the skin and drags it for a split second on the way in. So that's a typical entrance wound, which this had. The other things we look for when we're looking at bullet wounds,
They're good and bad. There's reasons to use them, reasons not to use them, but in the body, they're not ideal.
in autopsy is we look for soot and stippling because that's going to kind of tell us if there's a clue as to how close the shooter was when they were shot. So if there's soot like in the wound, that's usually a contact wound. If there's soot more on the skin around the wound, that means the gun was usually within 6 inches. If there's stippling, which is actually the gunpowder that comes out of the end of the gun and has tiny little abrasions on the skin surrounding it, that's usually within around 18 to 24 inches. The exceptions to those, of course, if it goes through like an intermediate object like a car door or a wall of some kind, and also very thick clothing can block those things. On this case, I did not see any soot or stippling, so this is what I call indeterminate range, meaning I don't know if it's 2 feet away or 20 feet away.
Okay. So no
Swear I
no
can't
indication of
find a
sooting or
heartbeat from my
stippling.
other
And then, so after we track the bullet, it comes in, it goes through, it kind of hits the 11th rib, so we have 12 ribs, so just above the bottom rib, it hits part of the rib and part of the T11 vertebrae, so the 11th vertebrae going down the thoracic vertebrae there. It then goes through the right lower lobe of the lung, and then it goes through the right ventricle of the heart. So this is the most deadly
Okay,
thing that
there
happens,
you
is
go.
that it goes through his heart. That's not a survivable wound. It then goes and after it goes through the heart, it hits the inside of his rib cage. We're actually able to see when we remove the front of his rib cage where the bullet impacted. So it was actually a little higher up than where the bullet's found. So the bullet, because of the way it kind of mushroomed, got caught on the pericardial sac, which is the soft tissue sac that surrounds the heart. So it kind of pulled it back down, but it actually impacted further up and to the left.
Would it have been immediately fatal, or would you expect to see somebody live for some time period after this?
So it's not immediately fatal. Those are more, and he would not lose consciousness immediately. Those are more with wounds to the head. So with a heart wound, maybe a minute or two, he could have, there's been reports of people being able to run with the adrenaline in their system, but not far. They collapse pretty quickly because the blood, every heartbeat is the blood's coming out of their heart and not circulating.
What is it that kills you? Is it
The blood loss, so instead of the blood circulating in your vessels and going to provide oxygen and energy to your cells, such as your heart, brain, vital organs, the blood is accumulating in his chest.
Tell me about midline is backbone, is that?
Yes.
How far from midline, left or right, was the wound?
The entrance wound was 1 3/4 inches right of midline.
And as far as a trajectory, was it, I guess, assume back to front? There's no exit and it holds us back.
Correct. So it's back to front. It was going a bit upwards, and it's going just slightly right to left. So it goes from just right of midline to just left of midline.
Okay. With court permission, can Dr. Nursu sit down for a minute?
Sure.
Show me kind of on my back. Just use me as a model. Where would that entrance room be?
So if we go mid back, just underneath that, just right of midline, I would say approximately in this location here.
Okay.
Hey, Law.
You can show to the juror.
I was gonna say you can
I would
start
say
when
right
you're
over
ready.
here.
Let me pause this real quick. So this is the ME. She's, or at least she's forensic expert. She's testifying to, I guess, what she found inside the body. The bullet entered right above, I think she's, or no, T11, entered right by T11, punctured the lung, and then hit the right ventricle. And that's basically what she's testified to so far.
All right, so T11, that's like mid to upper back. Well, mid, the upper part of the low back and low part of the mid back.
Yeah, basically. Like they had a very lovely x-ray where you could tell, like, you have the heart, you have the spine running, and you can tell it's like, at least from what the x-ray shows, is just at the bottom of the heart. So I'm like having a hard time before she gets into this. I'm like, this could have hit the heart. This could have just punctured the fuck out of the lung. Like, I don't know where we're at right now. But yeah, it was a hollow point. So I'm guessing that's probably why it also went into the heart as well. But yeah.
Well, so I didn't know this. If it was started at T11 and then went to the heart, that's an upward angle.
Yeah, it did go up. Yeah.
So how do you get an upward angle from somebody who's standing upright?
Isn't that a great question? That was my question too.
That seemed to lend credence to the fact that he was on the ground when he was. How did he get prosecutorial misconduct? All right, I'll shut up.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, no. Rob in the comments, because this is law is also Rob as well. Rob in the comments, maybe he's leading forward running. So what we got from at least some of the witness testimony was he was kind of like arched, like trying to come back up, like kind of like he had hit the ground and trying to get back up, and then, you know, that was where I believe it was two of the witnesses said that that's when he was shot. But I don't know the leveling of the ground. And I believe there was talk of a like sort of a drainage ditch. So it may have just been at that trajectory. Like that makes perfect sense why it would have gone upward. So, but yeah. Okay, we'll start. But yeah, that's all you missed so far. Nothing big.
Lovely, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old shirt.
Okay. You want me to draw on here? Okay. We're drawing. I'm going to try it before.
Okay. And the trajectory was upward, you say?
Yes.
Okay. Show me with an X on the front of me where. Would it be on this side or this side?
It's going to be on the right side.
Okay. And do you need any notes or do you?
Turn around again. Oh, the left side, sorry. Okay, so left, and it's, can I feel the bottom of your sternum? So it would be approximately here-ish.
Okay. Now with this rod, stand at the side. Show during my profile generally where that would be, how that would look going into Mr. Carmack Dalton's body.
Say it like this. If he was standing straight up.
Okay.
The problem is like my diagram, everyone's standing in anatomical position. No one is ever really standing in anatomical position when they get shot. So.
Well, I got one more. You seem like totally, it's not a workable gun. It's You've seen this too, Dr. Nurse.
I have this.
If you're in a shooter stance, that was testified to, okay?
Okay.
Same with the jury, or they can see you, and I'm over here.
Do you want me to put this down?
Yes. Would you expect to see that trajectory if you're in a shooter stance and you're behind me and I'm upright?
So a lot of times we get people, if someone is behind you with a gun, in general, someone's not going to stand there a lot of times. We have upward trajectories from people bending over.
I'm sorry, do what, Law?
So this is just a trial dramatics point. Is what I would do is either have a graphic up with, kind of showing the trajectory of it and leave it up on the screen as long as you possibly can. Or if you have like a dummy, you put a rod in through this silicone or foam dummy, and have it just sit there and let the jury look at it through the whole questioning, and leave the slide up through the whole questioning. And then the defense will normally have you take it down as soon as it's their turn. But you just let that sit there. This whole Post-it note thing doesn't have that lasting image. But if you sit there and let the jury sit there and look at the picture, it sinks into their brain a lot more than Post-it notes on a shirt does.
Interesting. I mean, I would agree that would certainly sit in your mind more than just, kind of, because it's hard to tell. Like, that's my thing is like, we're watching this from a really good angle, but I think the jury's kind of sitting sort of like in the trajectory that they're going. So that's kind of hard for them to see. I don't know. That's just my assumption.
Yeah, I agree. But if you have a rod like literally going through and showing the trajectory of it, and just let people sink in and say, okay, well, he clearly wasn't standing up straight when he was shot. Like, that sinks into their brain a lot more than kind of this passive exhibit.
Yeah, I like that. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Okay. The victim bending over, you mean?
Yes.
Let's just for argument's sake, you're the shooter and you're in a standard gunman stance. I am upright. Would you expect to see the trajectory that you observed on Mr. Belton?
No, so either the shooter would have had to be below you shooting upwards, or the victim would have had to be at an angle downwards, or he would have been uphill. There's a few different variables, but generally not straight if we're on flat ground and I'm directly behind you.
Your testimony is we're on flat ground.
Okay.
Okay, and you're standing upright in a shooter stance.
Got it.
Would you expect this trajectory if I'm hunched over running?
Yes, that would make more sense.
Okay. Now, would you expect this trajectory if I was turned in any way like this?
Not from right behind you, no.
Okay. But you would expect this trajectory, would it be consistent with somebody running away in a runner's stance with their back directly toward you?
Yes, if I fired the weapon from here with you in that stance,
Okay.
especially with you just twisted just a tiny bit, that would be consistent.
If I'm for some reason turning around, aiming at you, like I'm doing now, is it possible to have this trajectory?
No.
Thank you. In your expert opinion, were you able to determine the cause of death?
Yes.
Okay. What was the cause of death?
The cause of death was a gunshot wound to the torso.
In your expert opinion, were you able to determine a manner of death?
This is considered a homicide.
I think that's all the questions I have for you. I probably was not sure.
Okay, I hope so. Sharpie. It will not wash out.
So it's interesting, Rob, in the comments that you say that, because he asked about other injuries that were sustained. She said he had a mark on his hand that was already healing, so he could have gotten that at any time. But he also had really torn up shins and knees and stuff like that. She indicated that he did have those injuries.
No, nothing further. Go.
Good, how are you?
I don't think we've ever met.
I have not met you before, no.
Let's go through a couple of things. One, my name is Sean Kent. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And under no circumstance am I going to let you draw on me. I can promise you that.
I'm good with that.
I can promise you that.
That's great.
Dr. Durso, I just want to go through some of your testimony to make sure that I understand that everything that you said. And of course, I have no challenge to your expertise whatsoever. So please don't take offense to any of my questions, and if I am wrong, feel free to correct me. Is that a fair statement?
Fair enough.
And you do not have
when he was tearing up that other
anyone
guy.
reward, anyone punish. We consider you a neutral witness. Is that fair? You don't work for the solicitors.
Oh, correct. No. I'm just here to explain the autopsy findings and what it means, and that's it. I do not take sides.
And I'm definitely not going to disrespect or ask you how much you make or anything of that nature. That's completely improper, but you work for a living, correct? You work for the Medical University of South Carolina?
Yes.
And how long have you been there?
Well, I've only worked directly under them for about a year now. For 15 years before that, I worked for a private group of pathologists, and they just bought our practice. So I'm doing the same job for 16 years, but at MUSC for only a year now.
And doctor, as we talk about anything. You are a doctor. You are is a rude phrase, but they want to make sure that they can look at it, challenge it, and see if it's done a consistent way.
Yes.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, there are specific standards that are utilized in doing autopsies.
Yes.
And that comes from the forensic autopsy performance standards.
Yes.
Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
And we utilize those to make sure that if somebody else is looking at the work that we've ever done, that we can have a standard to, not necessarily can challenge, so they can make sure, well, tell me why you have standards. Tell me the point.
Just so we don't have people making stuff up and creating havoc.
And we want to endeavor to make sure that if we utilize and follow the standards at all times, that's when we'll think we're done exactly correct.
Yes.
What happens when we don't follow standards? Is that a problem?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, to be
It's
honest
just a
with you.
question. Do you know, I mean, how about let's
Yeah, where is he going with this? Have any idea, Law?
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was the question?
Yeah, where is he going with this questioning? He just keeps asking her about standards over and over again. If we don't follow the standards, weird.
Yeah, he's probably setting up for pointing out some standards that she violated, in the course of her investigation. It's like the same thing I do with police officers during, challenging their field sobriety tests. I start off by talking about all of the standards that they learn from their training in the National Highway Transportation Safety Board and things like that, the way things should be done. And then I'll start talking about the, potential errors that were done in the process.
I gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Looking at the picture of the autopsy, do we believe that all standards were followed properly?
I believe I did.
Okay. When we're looking at the human body, I think you mentioned that we take it from the anatomical position.
Correct.
We take the height of the individual.
Yes.
So we want to be
I
very
don't
specific.
like that answer.
Yes.
And we measure where the wound is, the defect, I think some call it wherever the wound is.
Yes.
We measure it exactly because we want to have very precise measurements.
Correct.
And then in this situation, we're very specific that the wound path in this situation is back to front. And because we can tell that, because we can tell the entry.
Correct.
And it's going front, back to front. And it's going, I think you mentioned right to left.
Yes.
And it's going slightly up.
Yes.
Now, first I want to deal with the word slightly. In my research and looking and talking to other doctors, they have mentioned that that's generally not a word that we utilize when dealing with autopsy because we want specificity. Is that a fair statement?
I use it, and
That
so
should
do my
be an
colleagues.
objection.
What's the objection for?
Counsel's testifying. You can ask a question about like what the standards are, but he's not an expert. He can't be offering the opinions of experts. If he wants to introduce a piece of evidence that's like, we call it a learned treatise, something like that, to say, well, here's what other professionals have said, but he can't just say, hey, I've talked to doctors and they say this. That's testifying.
Well, this prosecution team is absolute dog shit and they should all be fired. Like, if anybody's wondering, I'm going to tell you, I've tinfoil hatted this shit all the way. Like, I low-key think the prosecution team was in cahoots. But if you want to know why Rick Chow was found not guilty, I haven't seen the defense's witnesses yet. But at least from what I've seen from the prosecution, you can fucking blame them. They didn't do shit. But yes, thank you, Law.
Well, and the biggest thing that I've seen is the burden is on them to disprove self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt. And they've done a good job of showing that a homicide happened. But what they haven't done is shown that it was an intentional homicide. And they haven't proven beyond a reasonable doubt that this wasn't self-defense. They've had a few ancillary things, and maybe they'll try to clean it up in closings. But at least in their case in chief, since this is their last witness, that's the big burden. Is when you have a state with strong self-defense laws like South Carolina, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that self-defense was not a viable option. And for here, all like beyond a reasonable doubt is an incredibly tough standard, and they focused a lot on the actual event And had they charged like a voluntary manslaughter, I think that they may have actually gotten a conviction. But since they didn't include that in their charges, now they have to prove that the intent was to cause grievous bodily harm, which maybe they got there. But then they haven't done a strong job of showing that that beyond a reasonable doubt that this was not self-defense.
I think that's fair. Like, they focused a lot on showing that, like, Rick Chow fired a bullet into him. But yeah, to your point, how are they showing that it wasn't self-defense? And like, I think for people who are keen observers, we can sit there and look at this and be like, this is absolute dog shit. But like, I can also say, what the fuck was this prosecution doing? Why even not include lessers is still my biggest fucking question that's unanswered on this. I would have at least thrown a manslaughter in there. Just because if you can't get them on the schmurder, you can get them on something else. I know that sounds terrible, but when a teen is unalived, I couldn't give a fuck. When a teen is shot in the back by a store owner who chased him over bottled water, I couldn't care less. I'm pretty firm on self-defense, and I believe people have the ability to defend themselves. This seems like absolute dog shit to me. Just my hot take on it. But yeah.
But with the word like slightly, that's not a question where we can get a specific what numbers that we're dealing with.
I guess not, no.
And without having a specific, using a word like slightly on a small human being could be different than slightly on a large human being.
Yes.
And when we're dealing with standards and making
Then just ask her the fucking angle and move the fuck on.
sure we can make a point of what has happened, and makes it almost impossible for another doctor, another pathologist to look at our work and say, what does slightly mean?
Well, that's why we take photos.
And that's the next thing we want to get into. That's why we take photos.
Correct.
And when we take photographs in situations, we don't just take photos, we follow the standards to make sure it's done the exact same way. Correct?
Okay.
And you're familiar with the forensic autopsy standards? Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware that utilizing the forensic autopsy standards, there are specific things that we are supposed to do when we take pictures of injuries?
I'm not the one taking photographs.
But you would agree with me there's some specifics that we're supposed to have in doing an autopsy.
What are you saying we were missing?
I'm asking, are you aware?
Because I can see what.
Sorry, that's the app. I don't know why it keeps doing that. There it goes.
Okay.
Now, what are we supposed to do when we take pictures of injuries?
I don't understand what you're.
And it looks like I am completely on the wrong. No, yeah. In section E2, it talks about what happened when we have injuries. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. And just generically, what are we supposed to do
I
when
just
we
want
take
to
pictures
pop
of
this
injuries?
guy in the
This
face.
isn't saying pictures, it's describing.
Okay. So what are we supposed to do?
It says describe an injury by type, location, size, shape, pattern, and color.
Okay, and if we turn to page 15, that is where our industry standards talk about photographic documentation of injuries. Are you familiar with that section in the standards?
Yeah.
Can he land this plane sometime today?
And if we go to the forensic pathologist or representative shall, there's E3.1 and E3.2. What does E3.2 require us to do?
It says photograph major injuries with a scale.
Did we do that in this situation?
The sheriff's department or police department is the one that does that. And typically they do. I do not supervise them directly.
Do we have a picture of any of the injuries with the scale?
There should be some.
We haven't testified or seen any of that yet.
Yeah,
Incorrect. They had the other guy up there saying he had taken pictures, correct? The guy from
the X-ray pictures. Yep.
Yeah.
going down a road you might not want to go.
May I wait first?
Yeah.
Sidebar.
Can sidebar these nuts?
So the judge warning him you're going down a road you may not want to go down is code for there's a pretrial order that you're coming dangerously close to violating.
That sounds
Yeah,
about
thank you.
right.
And doctor, I think I understand what you were saying, that you did not take the pictures, these pictures that we have.
Correct.
And if you would have taken the pictures, you would have had a scale next to the picture as required by the industry standards.
Right. So the sheriff's department always uses a scale, I guarantee you.
Sorry,
Ladies and gentlemen, put on that short. I'll be right back to you. I promise you, we'll have to put on that. Don't discuss the case.
Don't discuss the case.
It's been turned.
This judge is just fun.
Accusing anyone of record with this witness. She done it, so you come through this witness.
Oh, good God.
Standard practice. He's asking, that should have been done. It hasn't been done. The couple pictures of his leg and 2 pictures. We were limited to 2 pictures of his fatal wound.
Oh, I think this is a whole thing.
That's where we're going.
Hold on, let me see where they're at. Are they Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out.
I want to make sure I'm clear. And Dr. Dursa.
Okay, we're back in it.
Judge President, John.
Go ahead, Mr. Kent.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Dursa, I want to make sure I understand completely, and I think, as we talked about, if I say something incorrect, you have every right to correct me. But I want to make sure I'm clear.
But
You
do
don't
you, though?
take the pictures, and I think that's where my confusion was. You don't take
Right. I don't take the photos. I'm honestly gloved up in full PPE the whole time. So the coroner's office has a representative that takes photos. And in this case, I believe it was the sheriff's department sent one of their crime scene investigators to take photos. And they always
They
take
fucking
pictures with and without
testified.
scale of the wounds.
And you understand why that was a concern of a question that I had to make sure who actually took the pictures, and that's why I'm glad you can explain that.
Right. I'm happy to
And
correct you.
No problem. And I want to give you a chance to make sure to clarify. Is there anything wrong with someone different taking the pictures other than you? That way you can clarify to the jury.
No, there's no problem. And that's very typical because I've worked in medical examiners' offices in North Carolina during training, and it's always someone else that's usually taking the photo. It's very infrequent in my experience that the actual pathologist has the camera because
I'll explain to you why. Because when you're in the pathologist's office, the medical examiner is the actual person getting inside the body. To her point, they're gloved and gowned. Usually you have 1 to 2 other people who assist. They may or may not take the photos, depends. Or it may be, to her point, they work with the ME through the police or sheriff's office. They come down and take those photos, just for clarity here.
Well, and they're not part of the investigation. They're
Correct.
not part of a prosecution. They're there to do their job and write their report, and they take the photos that are necessary for their professional obligations. They're not taking photos to try to gather evidence to convict or acquit somebody. That's not their job, and that's why the executive branch, the sheriff's department or police department, they send the people there to collect the evidence necessary for any criminal investigation or prosecution.
Correct. Thank you, Law. And also, it's pretty hard to handle a camera and because if you've ever, I know Law has probably have been in ME offices or places where they're doing this and they're looking at the body. There's all sorts of different places they can go to observe and take certain photographs depending on what it is. They have tiered up, they can take it right there, they can move around. When you're gowned and gloved and digging into a body, generally not wanting to handle a camera and run around. That's not a vibe. That's not a vibe we want. Any hoodles, sorry.
because once again, we're in full gear doing the work, and that way we can just call someone over and say, take a picture of this.
And to make sure, so I don't look like I just tried to beat you up with a bunch of papers, I asked you the question about those forensic standards. You can understand it says something different. Do you want to explain why that's not an issue in this situation? Because, of course, I read the forensic standards to the court.
Right. So it actually says the forensic pathologist or pathologist in training shall.
Okay, hold on. Why is she defending forensic standards? Did
So
she write them personally?
No, so what he's trying to get at is that the photos that were used, that were introduced into evidence, don't have the scaling on them.
Yeah.
She's testifying that they exist and that the standards are followed. So what he's trying to do is cast doubt in the jury's eyes that she was following the correct standards. And maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. It sounds like she was, but his goal isn't necessarily to prove that she wasn't following standards, but is to get the jury to infer that the proper standards weren't being followed. He's a slime bag attorney. We've determined this,
I know, but
several witnesses ago.
It's still breaking my heart, though. Like, this a 14-year-old, I don't know. I get it. He's doing his job. He's getting paid for it. I guess this is what he's supposed to be doing, but like, do something better with your life, man. I don't know.
And that's the thing is like, I have questioned the expertise of experts many times on the stands because I've legitimately found things that they did that were shortcuts that weren't following, weren't cutting corners. And maybe that means I'm not the greatest defense attorney on the face of the earth, but I am not going to tear apart somebody's credibility when they did a good job. If they did a good job, then the state is meeting their burden. But I have no problems cutting out when they didn't, or pointing out when they didn't do a good job. And almost every time there's something that they did that wasn't right, and it's up to the jury to decide. But I am never going to put a witness, take an expert witness and bring completely fallacious things up to just try to cloud the jury's judgment. And it's unethical, it's slimy, and it's just never the kind of lawyer that I want to be.
No, I agree with you. Like, for me, it's just like, okay, he's asking her these questions and it has to do with these pictures. But for me, it's like, you had the forensic person that works with the sheriff's department that went down and took those pictures, and you didn't ask him any of these questions, which is starting to make me notice that he actually has no fucking clue how forensic examinations are done. And I think that's pretty sad. If you're a fucking defense attorney, that should probably be something you know. Like, just my thought. But I agree with you, Lal. Like, there's no need to be a slimy dickhead.
Yeah, and that's what you understand how these things are supposed to go. You're familiar with it. The average juror, though, in this county that has average income of $42,000 a year for a household income, probably not going to be as informed by that. So if you can put out enough chafe, that the jury just comes away thinking, well, gee, I guess that medical examiner didn't follow all the standards, because you have managed to question it in a way that leaves the jury with that perception. Yeah, maybe you get a win. It's slimy as fuck. It's unethical. But that's the game.
I don't know. I've worked for defense attorneys the entire time I've been a paralegal, and I hands down still think that without a law degree, I could have prosecuted this case better. And that's fucking sad. That's horrifying, because this is generally just not ever the side I'm on anyway. But Jesus fucking Christ, this was so bad. Sorry. I'm probably overinflating my ego right now. I get it, but it's just bad. It's terrible. But anyway, I'll let it go.
And it literally says photograph injuries. So it literally does say that, which I think that's something probably Name should correct, because I don't know any forensic pathologists that take the photos.
So you can understand where my confusion comes from, that it says that you should, and I'm not blaming you, not blaming the solicitor's office, but you understand when I read the standard, it says that you should, but you're like, nobody does that.
Correct.
Okay. I want to talk about, and again, if I use words or say things incorrectly, please talk to me, because one of the things we have to figure out is the laterality of the bullet as it enters into the body. That's something important.
Yes.
Do you have a copy of your report in front of you?
I do.
Is that something that we measured to figure out inside the body, the laterality of the movement of the bullet when it went inside of the body?
So there's no exit wound. So typically there's an exit wound that's pretty easy to measure, but it's inside the body. So I described it. We took lots of photos, and I actually put a trajectory rod through his body to show the trajectory. That's our standard of what we do.
And you understand why I asked the question, because that could be something important, the laterality of the bullet going into the body, especially when we're talking about a right to left path.
Correct, and that's why I described where it was located and why I put the trajectory rod through the body. But of course, the body at that point has been opened because, again, it's not a through and through, so it's not a picture that most people would be okay seeing.
Yes, ma'am. And of course, that's one of the questions that, when I brought up at the beginning, utilizing, I want to make sure I say this correctly, utilizing words like slightly, when we then talk about we don't have measurement of the laterality of how the bullet moves in the body, that would be something we have trouble determining how right to left something is actually moving. Do you understand why I had that concern?
Yeah, and that's why we have the pictures with the trajectory rods and all of the descriptors.
And how are the pictures of the trajectory rods? Are they taken from angles or are they just taken straight on?
They're supposed to walk around the body
Why
and take
didn't
them
they
from
put
multiple
that
angles.
And if it's not done, is that an issue?
It's not ideal.
Okay, just asking. Well, is it not ideal because we can't tell how right to left something is?
Well, I know how right to left, but for someone reviewing, like you said, I just like to be thorough.
The solicitor was asking questions again about the right to left movement of the path. Now, when I was doing my studies, it says something, and again, this is where you correct me because you're smarter than me. When a bullet is moving like 3 to 4 inches, almost equates to like 30 to 40% turn to the torso. Do you understand what I'm saying? When the bullet inside of the body, okay, you know where I'm going, so I'll let you explain.
There's all sorts of theories about measuring angles and degrees, but the problem is there's so many variables.
Right.
And so, you know, is the body twisted or is the person just standing to the right of them? There's a
Is he asking her to testify to something like what maybe like a ballistics expert would testify to versus like an ME? Like, I'm not saying they don't have like knowledge or experience or anything like that. I'm curious because I genuinely don't know.
Well, so I think he's taking issue with her use of the word slightly, as it's not like an empirical measurement. And she's explaining right now that you can't really get that without extra variables. So what do you measure the center line as? Is it the spine? Well, the spine curves. So, you know, how do you get what is the zero going to be set at if you're trying to measure an angle? But in order to get that, you would have to know the position of the body at the time that the shooting happened. So were they to the left of the person? Were they to the right of them? Because that would affect the way that the body would have been shaped at the time that they were fired. So she's explaining that there's too many variables to just give you an exact degree angle off center that the bullet, was elevated, so if you're taking a horizontal line and you want to try to get a degrees off center, then the variable is what was the position of the body, because if you're trying to get a measurement of, so let's say the barrel is horizontal and that's the zero, what was the elevation of the bullet? You would need to know the position of the body. So she's just saying that you can't get that empirical measurement because there's too many variables to be able to supply that measurement.
Gotcha. Thank you.
a lot of different variables. So there's not, unless you were physically there at the scene.
And that's why I wanted, and I'm glad
and know exactly where everyone is standing. It's hard. I can tell you whether something's consistent with the pattern and the angle, but I can't say, well, this person had to be standing here because I don't know exactly what angle even the victim's body was at. Nobody can unless you were there.
And that's why, going back, while we talk about we do the body in an anatomical position, and then you just talk about possibilities and not possibility, and the sad part is a lot of things are possible.
Correct.
And so when we say this is, it's almost rare to say something's impossible because we don't know because you're not there.
Correct. I can say if it's consistent or not. Clearly, he was not shot from the front; he was shot from the back. So there are certain things we can say.
And when we talk about the slightly right to left,
everybody wrote that.
So let's just say couldn't have done that, which we understand. But there could be a slight turn, correct?
Correct.
Like there could be a slight turn this much.
True.
Okay.
If the shooter's directly behind.
If the shooter's directly behind, and we're gonna do that thing, but you are not going to draw.
Come on. I'm good at it now.
I want to just take everybody back to what we heard at the beginning from the defense. We heard at the beginning from the defense that Rick Chow saw Cyrus Belton point a gun at his son, I think it's Andy. Just all I'm saying from what we know right now, Rick Chow was behind this man. How would he have seen him pointing a gun? Because as far as I know, Andy Chow is also behind Cyrus Belton right now. The prosecution nor the defense they have yet to establish that. Where was Andy and the supposed gun that was pointed at him? Hopefully this is going to get established by when the defense witnesses testify and everything like that. But I've got questions.
let's go talk about it. Would you come up here and show me again? Because I want to make sure I understand. I'm going to have you come on down again. And just so you don't take the chance, I'm going to take Kenny Rogers, if he'll come over here and utilize him. So what I want to talk about, so if we turn the body this way, and this is where we're going to be this individual.
Okay.
This is going to be the individual who had passed.
Okay.
Okay.
He
Now,
said
the
assailant
solicitor
instead of
asked you-
victim. That's some horseshit there.
Wait, what did he say? I'm sorry, missed it.
He said that this attorney's going to be the assailant. I would have objected to that and asked to strike that because that's prejudicial.
Well, you know that we're going to get a big group of books of objection from Attorney Dye and send them to every single attorney. Well, not the defense people, but we're going to send them to every single prosecutor that was sitting on this case because I swear to fucking God, one more time that they don't object to some dog shit, I'm going to lose my mind.
If this was possible, and you said no.
Correct.
But this is possible.
Slightly, yes.
So that's possible.
Yes.
So a human could be turning this way, and that's possible.
Yes, slightly to the right. Maybe not quite that much. I mean, that's assuming, like, if I'm to the right of you, that
Yeah.
is, but directly behind, because it goes just right to just left.
Okay.
So the same more than about there. If I'm directly in
If you're directly behind.
Yes.
So that's possible.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can go back. See, you didn't get the drawing.
She missed the bending angle though,
Correct, yes.
because that she was trying to bend him over a little bit to try to show it, and the attorney wasn't moving.
Well, it may be because he's like 800 and bending over for him, he may not be able to get back up, to be fair.
No, he wanted the jury to see that him standing straight up and turning over a little bit, but she was trying to bend him over. If you saw, like, she was pushing his shoulder to try to demonstrate it, and then the attorney who's questioning right now kind of hurried her back to the stand because they didn't want her to be able to fully testify there. Now, if the prosecution is smart, they're going to come back and recreate that and said, now they just showed you this, but that wouldn't have been the angle possible. He would have had to have been bent forward while in this purported turning position, correct? Yes. And then, is that an anatomically neutral position? Is that something that somebody who's turning around, would they also be bending forward? And then she would say no, if they're smart.
You're betting on them being smart, though. I'm just saying, we may be losing on that one. Okay, let's see. Let's see what they do.
And they've introduced x-rays. Again, I'm not brilliant. One of the things that we always have to make sure of is the x-rays and so forth. Just shows where the bullet comes to rest. It doesn't show if the bullet is trampling or anything like that when it's in the human body.
Right, and because of that impact on the inside of his rib cage, I could tell that it didn't come to rest exactly at the direct angle, because bullets don't turn, they go straight, and then it got again snagged on the soft tissue around the heart, and it kind of yanked it back down.
And so I think the phrase I use, a bullet can trampling back, is that a proper phrase that I just used?
That's a word, yeah. Use that.
Look at me looking worth.
Listen here, Law. It makes me feel dirty all over, but by the same token, like, this was just wrong. This is so fucking wrong.
No, I'm with you there. It's like I would have been one of the defense attorneys that joined the prosecution against Derek Chauvin, so like there's a time and a place to switch sides.
Hell yeah. Like, yeah, it makes me feel dirty all over just because of the work I do. But at the same time, it's like, I don't even feel bad. Like, I feel icky, but I don't feel bad about it because this motherfucker should have gone down. Once I heard it was over bottled water and a 14-year-old was shot in the back, it was all over for me at that point. I was just like, we're done here. We're done.
Look, I got new stuff. And again, I want to apologize completely if I have misconstrued anything you have testified to, and I have not challenged your expertise whatsoever.
Oh, God,
And so
wait
please
past
apologize
another
if it seems like I
time.
have done anything to do that. Have I given you opportunity to answer all the questions that I have?
Yes.
And do you feel as though you've gotten perfect opportunity to respond properly to everything that I have asked?
Yes.
His demeanor changes are fucking wild. Like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. This is all in the same day we saw him tear somebody apart and then lick this lady's butthole. I just don't get it.
I guarantee you in his closing, he's going to tear into her credibility and missteps.
You think so?
So that's usually what you do is you, so for example, when I've got an officer who did shitty field sobriety tests, I will get them to put on the record how everything should be done. And I'll point out, now you did this, correct? So you did the horizontal case and stagmus, correct? And when you conducted this, you went 2 seconds out to maximum deviation, and then you came 2 seconds back to midline, correct? Yes. So I'll get them to lock into all of this. So when he's saying like, now you've given me a chance to respond to all of these things, right? You've got nothing to add, right? Okay, thank you. And then in closing, I'll go, hey, watch the body camera. You heard the officer testify that she went out to it took 2 seconds out to maximum deviation and 2 seconds back. Watch the body camera yourself when you're back in the jury deliberation room. It was 1.1 seconds. It was 1.3 seconds. She told you she did it the right way. She didn't, and so at closing, because they don't have a chance to correct the testimony. If you hit them with it on the stand, they can come back and say, try to correct it or try to mitigate it, or, try to say, well, I did 7 passes and 3 of them met, were at the right standard, or something like that. But if you get to leave the jury with that in the deliberation rooms after closing, they have no chance to rebut that. So that's what he's going to do. I guarantee you, he's going to start attacking her credibility at closing.
Or Doc Laserbeam Brown is gonna over here attacking her. Sorry, I'm waiting for him to start. I think she is the last witness for the prosecution. That's just what my bet is on, because she's the ME, and I just don't know what they're gonna pull out of their butt after this one.
No, yeah, I think, this is the one that they want the jury to remember, that he was shot in the back. So I think from a strategy standpoint, this is the right witness to end on, because you want them remembering he was shot in the back.
Correct. Okay, gotcha. All right, we'll finish up with her, and then we can chat for a minute while I start day 3.
Have you given opportunity to see? You don't believe that I tried to trick you in any way whatsoever, do you? And you would agree with your testimony that we've talked about, there are different possibilities that could have happened and you were not there.
Absolutely.
And one of the things the solicitor talked to you about, if the 2 individuals are on flat ground, that takes a situation that you don't know.
Correct.
Because you're not there.
Correct.
And so if somebody's on a flat ground or raised ground or something like that, all of that changes our equations.
Correct. There are several variables, as long as that angle stays true, that you
As
can
long as
move
angle
both
stays
the
true.
shooter, the shootee, and everyone else around. So.
And so the best way to do it is take the science that you have offered and put it with witnesses, evidence, and so forth. Let them
Prosecution
decide
doesn't
what
come
happened.
and clean this up.
Thank you so much. I
I'm
appreciate
getting
your
my
time.
tinfoil hat back
I've been
out.
told that. Don't have to have another question.
Okay.
So apparently I am done. I apologize. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here.
And we're direct. There you go. All right, doctor, you can cut down. Thank you for being here. Good to see you again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll let her get there.
Was that no
We're
rebuttal?
going to adjourn for today. Same rules apply.
I think
Don't discuss case.
so.
Are you fucking kidding me? No redirect? You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, my bad. I'm getting the tinfoil hat back out again. I swear to Jesus. Hold on.
That is insane. They can't. They did no redirect to try to correct the misinformation that was just put out there.
Well, I think my kids threw it away, but whatever.
I've got a good imagination. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. Just imagine I've got it on. I got this. Yeah. What the fuck?
like at the very least, they need to come back and say and lock in that she did everything the right way. Like, have you followed all of, so you know, there are some best practices, but did you do a thorough investigation? Yes. Did you thoroughly document everything that was there? Could any other pathologist come and look at your work and come to the same conclusion that you did? Yes. Yeah, I mean, those are you needed to lock in that her testimony was credible and that she did everything the right way. And then the whole mispositioning of the body to mislead the jury there, like that was fucking huge. That they left the jury with this idea that, oh, he was standing up straight and turning around, and she was trying to bend him over, and he wasn't going along with that. You needed to clean that up and say, no, you know, in this demonstration here, do you remember that the attorney was standing up straight and turned slightly to the right? Was that consistent with the injuries that you saw? No. What would have been consistent? Yeah, it's so fucking ridiculous. This is a bullshit prosecution.
All I'm saying is, like, from what I've seen, get your tinfoil hat out, everybody. My kids threw mine away, and I'm not going to make a new one. But get your tinfoil hat out. I swear to God, I can be mad as hell at the defense, but they got paid to do a job. I'm more mad at the prosecution. They know what the fuck they're supposed to do. This isn't fucking their first, like, maybe minus one of those attorneys, this ain't their first day on the fucking job. They know what they're supposed to do. They know they have a burden to prove. They have routinely not made objections when witnesses were being badgered. They have routinely not made objections to just any fucking thing the defense does. They've had a few sidebars and a few objections here and there, but they're just running a terrible ground game. Like, this is awful. Fucking awful. I've worked with some dumb motherfuckers before. I've never seen anything like this. And that's saying something, because I've seen some crazy dog shit. I don't know, man.
This is really, really bad.
Yeah, real bad. So I expect everybody to send a strongly worded letter to this prosecution team. And when I say strongly worded, I still mean respectful, and don't put anything cray-cray in there. Just saying, what the fuck is your problem? And why are you running cases this way? Because anybody who's watching this can just tell you this is crap. And by the way, if you've missed any other parts of this case, I know this is really long, but if you ever just have time and you're chilling and you're listening to shit on YouTube, I put them over on my YouTube. Law's been in every single one because he's amazing. So we all love Law, gift Law, thank Law. And if you're not following Law, follow him. But we've spent multiple days going through this, and it just keeps getting worse somehow. I don't know how that's possible, but it just keeps getting worse. I don't even know what else to say.
All right. I know what else to say. We've got 12 people in here. You fucking nerds. I love all of you. Thank you for being here. Cass needs 4 more heart me's, the 1 penny heart me's, in order to meet her goal. So if you appreciate the work she's putting in there, drop in a heart me if you have not done so already. Thank you.
Thank you, Law. All right, let's get into it. Let's see what we're doing today. This started day 3. And the defense is starting to call their witnesses. Believe this is Andy Chow.
Andy Chow.
Now, just spell your last name.
Chow.
Andy, how are you doing?
Okay.
I know you're a little nervous because we're going to go over some rules, okay? First, you need to speak loudly and clearly enough. I know you're soft-spoken, but I need you to speak loudly and clearly enough so that young lady next to you can take down every word that's the court report. You understand?
Yes, sir.
She cannot take down head nods and shakes and things of that nature, so make sure you speak yes, no, and so on. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
I don't anticipate it knowing your demeanor, but we cannot argue with one another. So if you will give me a chance to ask my question, I will give you a chance to answer. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And if you do not understand a question that is being asked of you from anyone, you have the right to ask for it to be said again. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And
I see
in your
what he's
testimony,
doing.
you cannot testify to what other people think or in their mind or anything of that nature.
What's up?
I see what he's doing. He's making it sound like he's really abrasive to him, so that the jury gets sympathetic to the witness. So this is another one of those slimy tactics where if you have a friendly witness, but you don't want the jury to think that they're being overly friendly, you use aggressive tones and you challenge them and you kind of hit them hard and you make it look like you're being rough on them, and then the jury's sympathetic to them and more likely to believe their testimony.
Interesting. Law knows all the tricks. God dang. All right.
You can testify about your memory and what you know. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
You understand all those rules?
Yes, sir.
So understanding all that, Andy, first we need to figure out who Andy Chow is. So Andy, tell me a little bit about yourself today. How old are you?
I am 23.
Where are you from?
Here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Born?
I was born in Greenville,
What year?
2002.
Who are your parents?
Alice and Rick Chow.
Okay, and Alice Chow is that young lady on the end right there with the short hair, short black hair?
Yes, sir.
And who is Rick Chow? Is that him right there?
Yes, sir.
What is his real name? Like, you keep saying Rick. I don't think Rick's his real name, is it?
It is Chike Chow.
Chike?
Chike Chow.
I'll be
You
right
have any
back.
brothers or
Give me one
sisters?
sec.
I have an older brother,
What's his name?
Kenneth Chow.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Hammond.
Hammond. High school?
Hammond School.
Okay, Hammond School. I don't know. It's here in Columbia.
Yes, sir.
And when did you graduate from Hammond?
2021.
Play any sports or do anything in Hammond?
I was a swimmer.
Swimmer? What did you swim? What was your event?
I was a breaststroker and a freestyler.
Were they any good?
I was okay.
You won a state championship.
Yes, sir.
So you were pretty good swimmer in high school.
Yes.
Did you go to college?
I went to the University of South Carolina.
And when did you graduate from USC?
2025.
And degree? What do you have a degree in or what did you graduate with?
Computer Information Systems.
And your level of computers, who did you get that from?
My dad.
Your dad, he was a professor, right, of computers?
Yes.
What do you do now? Do you work?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm at Blue Cross Blue Shield.
How long have you been there?
3 days.
Okay, so you just started working. And Andy, from your demeanor, this is how you are. You're very just kind of quiet guy.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to make sure that we, understand all the questions we're asking. I know you're quiet, but I need you to speak loud enough. So I want you to speak loud enough so this person at the back of the jury panel can hear everything you're saying. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Is that fair? And Andy, tell me about your parents and a business. Did they own a business?
Yes, sir.
What business did they own?
A gas station.
Do you know where it was located?
7441
Oh my
Park
God,
Lane
what
Road.
dumb fuck wouldn't know
What
this?
type of, just a convenience store? Was it just gas? Did it have other stuff? What did the store have?
It was gas station and convenience store.
And what about you? Did you work there?
I came in on the weekends and during school breaks.
Okay. And you work for your family?
Yes, sir.
Did you get paid?
No.
We'll discuss that later. But you did not get paid working for your family, it sounds like. We'll
Yes.
talk to Alice and Rick about that at a later point in time. Now I want to take you to a more serious event. I want to talk about what we're here for. Okay?
Yes,
You remember
sir.
the date? You remember when it happened?
Yes, sir.
So I'm not going to interrupt you. I want you to tell the jury what happened that day from your point of view. You need to tell them what happened.
Okay. So I watched a young man come in to the store, and I was stocking things onto the shelf, and so I went to the register, and I hear my mom ask him to leave his backpack at the front of the store, and so he does, and he starts to go around the store, and then I see he goes to the water cooler, and that's when I think he pockets a water. And so he comes to the front, starts coming to the front, and I ask him if there's anything in his pocket, and he says no. My mom, she also asks him, and then I see he turns to both of us, and he tries to show there's nothing in his pocket, but he keeps his hands in the pocket and still like trying to hide something. And so after that, he turns around, he grabs his backpack and walks out the door. And while he's going,
Just for clarity here, he doesn't have to show them a fucking thing. He could have easily just walked out quicker and been like, fuck yeah, I'm not showing you shit.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Going out the door, and both hands are out of the pocket now. I see something heavy just droop down in his hoodie pocket. And so that's when I come around the counter and I call out to him, hey. And he doesn't turn around, he just keeps going. And so I walk to the door, I walk out the door, and I see he turns the corner of the store. And so I walk over to the corner, and then I hear my dad come up behind me, and he calls out hey to him, and he turns around and immediately turns back around and starts to sprint away. And that's when I start to run. And before he leaves the parking lot, I see he throws something out to the right. And so I slow down for like a second, and I glance back, and I don't see what he threw. I only see trash and litter. So I immediately turn back around and continue following him. And so I see he crosses the street, and I go to cross the street, and then I see he trips and falls flat on the grass. And so I was running full speed, so I end up catching up to him. And when I catch up to him, I see something is in his hand. I'm not sure what it is yet. But as he starts to get up, I see that it's a gun, and he points it at me. So I immediately put my hands up. I start to back away from him quickly, and then I yell, he has a gun? And then I turn to my dad, who's coming up behind us, and I yell at him again, he has a gun. And I'm still backing up, and I watch my dad, and I watch him yell, drop it, and he yells no, and then pulls his gun and fires one shot. And so after the shot, I turn and I look at him, and I see he takes 1 or 2 steps, drops his gun in front of him, and then ducks to the ground and stays on the ground. And so I start to go to him slowly, and I see my dad coming on my left side. And when we get to him, my dad, he picks up young man's gun, and he tosses it to the side, further away. And then I checked to see if he got hit by the shot, because I thought my dad actually missed. And so I check it, and I see there's a bullet hole in the hoodie. And then I pull up his hoodie, and I see there's a wound in the back right, on his back right side of his back. And then my dad immediately grabs his hoodie and applies pressure to the wound, and then starts to call the police. And then I look back down at him, and he's unresponsive. So we flip him over onto his back, and my dad immediately starts chest compressions, and he yells for me to call 911. And so I start to dial 911, and I see 3 women coming down from the parking lot, and I continue to talk to 911, and I see one of the ladies, she's hurrying over, she's taking her hoodie off, and she says she's a EMT, and she says she's going to tie a tourniquet, and she comes over and takes over CPR.
Tourniquet what?
And so I see my dad and her working together, and then I continue to talk to 911, and then I start to hear the sirens coming closer, and I go out to watch to see if the first responders come to us or turn into the parking lot of the gas station, and they end up turning into the gas station. So I go and run to the parking lot. I point all the first responders to the scene, and after most of them made it there, I make my way back to the scene, and I wait to talk to the police.
Did you talk to the police?
Yes, sir.
And did you tell them what you just told us, Rick?
Yes.
I want to go backwards through your story and talk about it a little bit and get some details, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
It has been suggested that you didn't tell anyone you saw a gun pointed at your father. Or pointed at you, I'm sorry, not your father, a gun pointed at you. Did you tell anyone on scene that a gun was pointed at you?
I did not say the exact words it was pointed at me.
What did you say?
I said that he had pulled a gun on me.
And you called 911.
Yes. Sorry.
Talk to officers.
Yes, sir.
After
If that prosecution doesn't ask him if he said that in his 911 call, I'm gonna be fucking pissed after the defense went on and on about the difference between these people's 911 calls and their fucking statements. I swear to God.
And why didn't the 911 call come in if that was part of the maybe they're going to try to introduce it as prior and consistent statement on cross maybe, but I guess we'll see. But a couple of things that stick out to me is, how did he point a gun at you and while his back was turned to you, and then you start backing up, and then your dad comes by and he says he's got a gun, and all while he's hunched over in a running away position says, no, I'm not dropping my, this just does not make sense. And then from a body language standpoint too, there's some cues and things that I noticed of somebody who's trying to recollect a created story rather than access their memory from the event. Just eye positioning and facial expressions, not conclusive, but just things that I've picked up over the years.
See, I have a really hard time with facial expressions, especially because I'm notorious for like having a hard time looking people in the eye. It's the verbal cues that I pick up on more than anything. And it's very, how do I say it? Like odd, like it feels rehearsed, if that makes sense. Like his story feels like something you tell yourself, not something you're actually trying to recollect, at least the verbal language to me again, but that's just me being me.
Well, and that's absolutely part of it. Is it sounds like he's narrating a story, not accessing his memory.
Yes. Okay, let's see what else he says.
the young man was shot, did you and your father have time to huddle up, sit down, and talk about anything that happened?
No, sir.
You called, and who told you to call 911?
My dad.
Thank you, True. I appreciate you.
And the 911 call, is that the first time you had mentioned about the gun? Is that what you remember?
Yes, sir.
You know, just one time we'd like to play Mr. Chow's 911.
Another thing I'm thinking could have happened here, and I don't know, just roll with me on this real quick. I think a lot of the positioning and places that he was or wasn't, like, I can't tell you on that. But something that occurred to me that could have happened, you're wearing a hoodie. You're running, you're falling, backpacks are being tossed, phones apparently are being tossed, shoes are being lost, and you fall and your tack light, disappears at some point. Is it possible that he wasn't pointing a gun? Maybe he was trying to pick up the gun that fell out of his hoodie pocket, because I will tell you, I have some hoodies where shit just falls out all the time if I lean the wrong way. I don't know if it's just me, but that's happened to me before.
Yeah. So I'm with you there. And what I find, I would say, I hope the prosecution points this out, but let's say even if he did have the gun in his hand because he didn't want it falling out, or it did fall out, how did he point it at you with his back turned? Or even if he did point it at you, if he's running away, the right to use deadly force is ended now because the person's not a threat to you. If they're trying to escape, then your right to use deadly force ends. So again, these are the self-defense things that they need to overcome. Maybe they'll do it on cross, but I'm not holding my breath.
I'm hoping that they'll at least clarify the positioning of the three men. Like, if this is Cyrus, right? Where was Rick Chow where was Andy Chow? Was he off to the side of him? Like, was he side pointed? Like, did he have it like this? Like, because if you're alleging kid pointed a gun at you, you better damn well know where you were standing when this happened. But yeah, that's something I hope that they'll go through, because I'm very confused by this, like you are. So, okay, I think people are getting bored with me talking. I will get back into it, guys.
To rebut the claim of application. You have to And you have listened to the 911 call, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you'll be able to recognize your voice on the 911 call?
Yes, sir.
And you don't believe the 911 call has been altered or anything of that nature?
No, sir.
So at this point in time, we would enter Mr. Chow's 911 call, Andy Chow's 911 call, and I think this would be the
Judge? Yeah. The without objection, defense 2.
Can we play the 911 call, please? And just call in Mr. Pause.
May 28, 2023, 20:06 and 25 seconds.
911. 911. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I need to dispatch down Green Road.
Andy, that person's voice, is that your voice on the 911 call?
Yes, sir.
And this is the call you were just testifying about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you go ahead and play?
Okay, what's the
Is
emergency?
that fire?
You heard gunfire?
Yes, ma'am.
How many shots did you hear? Was it one?
There's a voice in the background yelling, call 911. Whose voice is that you hear?
This is my dad.
Just one.
Okay, who was shot? Talk to me, hello?
He's,
Sir,
we,
who was shot?
kid right here.
Are you with the person?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you with you?
He had a weapon.
So, okay, the person you're with, who shot him?
My dad.
Your dad shot him?
Did I hear that correctly, that you said he had a weapon and my dad shot him?
Yes, sir.
And that's you to the 911 call?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
We need an ambulance.
I want to clarify that he doesn't say here he had a weapon pointed at me. He just said he had a weapon.
And there was a hesitation with who shot him too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't want to say that it was his dad. He was trying to think of anything other than that to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, granted, to be fair, 911 calls are weird, and I went through a whole like story with y'all a couple of days ago about how like 911 calls can be completely overwhelming in emergency situations, and I really try to be fair that like when you're trying to process something during an emergency, it's very much hard to get your words together sometimes. But my biggest thing, and I agree, Law, there was hesitation there. My biggest thing is all he said is he had a weapon. He didn't say he has a weapon pointed at me. He said he had a weapon and my dad shot him. And he delayed on the dad part. But that's essentially what he says. He had a weapon. So that's fishy to me. But I agree to Law's point, there was hesitation there. And I could honestly understand that. Like, granted, I don't like it. I don't think it's good, but it's your parent. You know, I could understand having hesitation saying that. Hi, Attorney Di.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Hey, I've got a quick question just
Sure.
right out the chute here. So you're talking about the 911, I just joined. But here's my question. I think that there is a specific evidentiary rule that applies just to 911 calls because we had some landmark evidence case go through where they're saying you can't just have a recording, you have to have somebody else in there to put the foundation in. So here's my question, long format. Which of the evidentiary rules then allows a 911 call that is not as hearsay?
Normally they get it in through excited utterance.
The 911 calls?
I don't know. If you don't have the person who was on the call making the statements available, in this case, it's the person on the stand is the one who made the call, so he's there to be cross-examined on it, so it's not hearsay. But generally, when the state tries to get something in from, at least in Minnesota here, from the defendant or an alleged victim, they'll try to get it in under excited utterance or present sense impression. Because 911 calls are usually made contemporaneously with the event.
True. I would also say, though, this isn't a question to be fully answered, but I'm just putting it out there in the universe. So if you come across it in your rules, you know what I'm talking about.
Thank you so much, Attorney Dye. So far, we've had the ME that's testified to, basically he was shot in the back and a few other things. I don't know, Law, is there anything you wanted to hit on with the ME that they testified to?
He was shot in the back at an upward angle. So the body had to have been bent over or on the ground is essentially what was testified to. State dropped the ball again on at least a couple of points. The defense on cross was very politely hinting at some faults in processes that were followed. And I imagine that that's going to come back in closings not so politely. But and the state had no redirect on that. And then the defense also used a demonstrative trying to show the positions of the body and hinting at, well, the person could have been turning and pointing a gun without actually addressing the upward angle. And state just kind of let that go without pointing out that fault in the demonstrative.
They didn't even redirect. They didn't even redirect after the defense question. Didn't even do that.
Suspicious.
I'm telling you, I in spirit I had my tinfoil hat on. My kids threw it away, so I mean I'm glad they're cleaning up. So I'm not going to yell at them for it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. W boys for cleaning up.
I know
exactly.
They picked it up because they saw it, and I was like, you got to do some chores if you want some Lego sets, you know. So like they're trying to help out around the house. My 8-year-old is hooked on Legos, like they are the biggest smug he has, and I'm here for it. But I was like, you got to do some chores, guys. You want your Lego sets and your technical things, because my oldest loves computers and all that. And so I'm like, and so they picked up the tinfoil hat. So I'm like, you know, I'm not going to complain. Like, they
love it.
And then we've got Rick Chow on the stand. He just got up there, and they kind of went through his little take, and now they're playing the 911 call. So.
You at the Shell gas station?
Yes, ma'am. I really, like, a couple, like, get away.
Okay, don't hang up, but whatever you do not hang up with me. Okay, stay on the line.
And you're still on the phone with 911 at this time?
Yes, sir.
And there's other conversations, other people calling 911, and your father saying call 911. All of this is happening, but you're still on the phone.
Yes, sir.
And this is not giving you an opportunity to talk to your father. So do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you said your dad shot him? What's your name?
Andy Chow.
No, I swear to God, exactly. That's got to be a new one.
Can pause, please? And this is, you're still on the phone with 911. You have not hung up the phone.
Oh, yes, sir.
And no one is telling you what to say?
No, sir.
Not during this time. No one is telling you what to say or what to do or anything of that nature?
No, sir.
Someone doing CPR?
No. Sorry, she's like.
Where's the person that had the gun? Where's your father?
He's trying to.
Your father's trying to help?
If possible.
What did you just say to the 911 operator?
That my dad was trying to help.
And this is while you're on the phone with 911 while everything is happening?
Yes, sir.
No one told you what to say?
No, sir.
God, I can hear that voice and it's making me tear up. It's just like, fight. Jeez.
Why did your father shoot him?
Okay, that is the 911 operator asking me a very direct question. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And you're still watching everything that's happening?
Yes, sir.
So he was leaving feeling something. I think I'm not sure because we're over here. But and then we're taking him.
Your father worked for the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he pulled out a gun, so that's when my dad did.
Okay, pause. What did you say right there?
So I say that he had pulled a pistol on us, and then I say he pulled a gun on us, and that's when my dad pulled his.
Okay, so you say two different statements that's going over. You say he pulled a pistol on us, and he pulled a gun on us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Continue, please.
Did anybody hear him say that? Was I too busy with the waterworks? I didn't hear him say that at any point.
Okay, say what? Sorry, I missed it.
He said he made two different statements. He pulled a pistol on us and then he pulled a gun on us. I don't know if I was just too busy trying not to cry. So, like, I'm wondering, did anybody actually hear him say that? Because I didn't hear him say that at all.
I heard him say that he had a weapon. Could you rewind it a little bit and hear the question? Or let me see the question that was posed.
Yeah, I got you.
Just like 10 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
On us, and then I say he pulled a gun on us, and that's when.
One more.
But and then we're taking him.
Your father worked for the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he pulled out a gun, so that's when my dad did.
Okay, pause. What did you say right
He
there?
pulled out a gun.
So I say that he had pulled a pistol on us, and then I say he pulled a gun on us, and that's when my dad pulled his.
Okay, so you say two different statements that's going over. You say he pulled a pistol on us, and he pulled a gun on us.
Yes, sir.
Pause it real quick. This is clearly coached testimony.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Okay, just real quickly. Yeah, I'm sorry we had to rewind for that. I didn't catch it. Just other shit. What makes it like, okay, so first of all, I think it's good for the listeners. Can you explain the difference between like prepping your witness versus coaching your witness, and then why both of y'all would say it's coached versus just prepping your witness?
Ladies first.
Oh, thanks. Well, one of the things that I thought was weird was like, why is he referring to the weapons differently? Now, I know that's like people that know the weapons, that's fine. But, when we're prepping or helping our witnesses, it's important that they say their own words. And so for me, it sounds like somebody gave them alternative words to use. That's what I thought. The other thing too, when you're coaching, they're going to say the same thing over and over again, even if you ask the question a little bit different. And sometimes we go hunting for that when you'll ask the question like, oh my God, I think this is coached. And then you ask it in a different form and it's the same thing over and over again. With that kind of repetition, it's clearly coached. If it's just for preparing the witness, what I would try to do is shoot some questions out. And then I would say, just don't answer them. But these are some of the questions that you might hear in order for them to feel a little bit better about it. But if you go through exactly the question, exactly the answer, you can absolutely get thrown off guard. And so that's why coaching can be bad also.
Yeah. And so like coaching would be like, I'm going to ask you this and here's what you say to this. Or even if they give you the answer, they say, so if you say, hey, I'm going to ask you this, what's your answer to that? And if you say, well, okay, well, it would sound better if you say this. That's coaching. But what makes me say this was clearly coaches, they played that whole 911 call. And the question was, what did you say right there? And to somebody who wasn't coached, the response would be right where, or what do you mean? Or that whole thing. But his response to it was, I said that he had a pistol, and then I said that he had a gun. And that makes no sense given the context of the question, because after that whole 911 call, they pause it and he says, what did you say right there? And if he wasn't coached, it should have been like the last thing there should have been some sort of a clarifying question, because he just said a whole lot in that 911 call, but his answer was immediate and it was very rehearsed. It was, I said that he had a pistol, and then I said that he had a gun. Like that's what they had practiced.
Any
I
recourse
agree.
for coaching a witness?
I mean, you could do some kind of like ethical questions, but usually, honestly, when we've had any kind of coaching going on, that's like the least of my concerns in the
Fair enough.
situation.
Fair enough.
But
Yeah.
until you get someone in there, but the problem is, if you're sloppy, then the jury's going to hear it too, and that can really jack up your case.
Well, bigger for me, I would think that if you're coaching them, you may throw them off guard for when, when the prosecution gets up there and starts asking him questions and he doesn't have this carefully rehearsed story that he wants to discuss versus, having to understand what type of questions they may ask and think about how he's going to answer those questions. You're in a bigger bind, because if they throw you some curveballs, and I'm not betting on this prosecution doing any of that shit, but if it were a normal good prosecution, you may be in a really different place if you kind of went through this and it's all coached and you don't really have to think about how you might phrase your answer or what you might say to the other side questioning you. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah. So if the coaching does not materially misrepresent the evidence, there's really not much that you can do other than try to question them. Hey, did you practice this testimony with your attorney? Did he tell you the things to say? So you can put that in the jury's minds that this might, it goes to witness credibility. The bigger problem would be ethics under the model rules and filing a complaint against it. But as far as the impact of the trial, the only thing you could really do is try to point it out on cross and question the witness on it in order to try to diminish their credibility. It's not like it's like an instant mistrial or anything like that.
No. Yeah.
Really quick story here. When I was in a deposition prosecutor, we were working on a multiple essay case, one defendant and multiple essays. So we had someone coming in, they were doing a deposition, and they're really, really nervous because, of course, you're looking at the dude that's the bad dude, right? And so I had said, anytime you're just really uncomfortable, let me know. We'll go out in the hall, because I didn't want her to feel like she was trapped in this room with dudes, which she was. So anyway, she's like, okay. So at one point during the questioning of how he had essayed I don't want to give any details actually. She was like, I need a break. So we go out into the hallway and I'm just like, okay, take some deep breaths. It's okay. You know what you're doing, no coaching. And then we go and sat back down, turned it back on. And then his attorney immediately was like, what'd you guys talk about in the hallway? And I was like, well, that's a fair question, right? Like, why did they want you to go to the hallway? What were they telling you to say? What were they telling you to do? And, I was like, have some water. But that can really screw you up if you're just like, oh, yeah, tell her everything we just said. Oh, look, now it's on the record. Great.
It's like she told me to drink some water and take some deep breaths. Like,
That's it. We're
the
done.
problem is that if you coach them, they have to be well aware they better not say that they got coached. And that's where it becomes a little bit of a pickle, right? Like,
Heck
because
yeah.
if you are doing that and you don't have a real slimy defendant who's just like, yeah, she just told me to, like, drink some water and take a deep breath, but not saying like, I'm not saying that about you, but like,
Well,
you're kind of going to
right.
be having a little bit of an ethical issue there. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's the bigger issue is the ethics behind it. But yeah, and usually with coaching is you can usually sell it as witness preparation if you're challenged on it, unless you tell them, now don't tell them that I told you to say this, because then you're suborning perjury, and that's when you get into real big trouble with the
Yeah,
bar.
I was gonna say that's big time. That's big time trouble.
It's a hot freaking mess is what it is. Yeah, like, just don't. Just don't. Like, just don't. It's so easy. Like, just don't do it, and then you're gonna be great. Okay, let's do some more Rick Chow testimony and see what he has to say. Or, this is Andy Chow, I'm sorry. See what he has to say.
You said your name, Andy?
Yes, sir. Andy Chow. A-N-D-Y.
Okay, so there's no way for it.
All right.
Are you still on PPR?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a hot tip, once you've got a hole in your right ventricle or left or any major artery, CPR is probably not going to do that much good, but that's why maybe just try not to shoot teenage boys in the back. Just a hot tip.
Great one.
Okay, we can do that.
All right. Thank you.
So what we just heard was you calling 911.
Yes, sir.
And again, who did you say told you to call 911?
My dad.
And it was immediately afterwards?
Yes, sir.
And we heard your dad on the 911 call?
Yes, sir.
After you got off the 911 call, what happened next?
I can't remember if I was already at the parking lot, but I made it to the parking lot. I point the first responders down, and then I made my way back to the scene, and I wait there till the police talk to me.
It wasn't that long after the 911 call, or was it? Or do you remember?
I don't remember.
During that time while you were waiting for law enforcement, did you and your father have time to talk, plan a story, or anything of that nature?
No, sir.
And then an officer talked to you. Remember the first officer who talked to you?
That's such an odd question. I mean, maybe he did need to ask it, but just being like, y'all didn't have time to talk or plan a story, like, that's so fucking weird. I get it, but like, weird. Fucking weird.
Part of it's the credibility issue, though. Without the witnessing really realizing how not necessarily important dates and names are, then they'll start to be afraid that they're not saying the right thing. So they start gaslighting themselves. That's been my experience, at least.
That's fair.
Yes.
Do you remember his name by any chance?
Officer English?
Officer English, you think that was the first one to talk to you?
Yes, sir.
And at this point in time, did you ask for a lawyer?
Body cam.
No, sir.
Did you say, I don't want to talk?
No, sir.
Did you say, get away from me? Anything like that?
No, sir.
But you had a full conversation with him when he asked you what happened?
Yes, sir.
No, the objection would be just foundational authentication. I think you asked without statements in it. I don't believe you can introduce that for this particular witness.
So just a claim of fabrication, Your Honor, one. And this
Oh, now they know how to
this
offer
would be which is
objections.
body cam, which is Andy's statement.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yes, English is body cam. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes.
So the state just objected to a piece of evidence that was already admitted. So that gives you the idea of the quality that we're dealing with here.
I'm sorry, say that again, Law. I apologize.
The state just objected to playing an exhibit that was already admitted, which doesn't make sense. So, a rock star team here.
Well, it also was interesting too that they are saying, well, you got to do this and got to do that. It's, man, I hate attorneys that do that. It's like, dude, the judge's job to do that, not you. And he's like, rah, 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 rah. That bothers me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so they objected to foundation, saying that there wasn't sufficient foundation laid to introduce the evidence, but the evidence is already admitted, so the foundation's already been laid. So it's just a like amateur hour mistake.
I fucking hate it here. Like, I swear to God, we're gonna send them. I'm gonna get them a gift basket. An attorney is gonna tell me and law too. They're gonna tell me the books to buy, and at some point, I'm gonna take my happy ass over to South Carolina. This is not a mail delivery type of occasion for me. I will get on a plane and fly there because I have a really good friend there anyway, so it works out perfectly. But I will take my ass on a plane to South Carolina, and I'm going to hand deliver it to them and be like, catch my YouTube, catch me outside. How about that? I watched your trial. This is dog shit. Y'all need these books, and you're going to have to share because I'm kind of poor and I can't afford enough for each and every one of you. That's what I'm going to do. I've got a plan. I've got a game plan. It's not aggressive. That's very nice for me. I don't think I can be arrested for doing that. It's perfect.
You can bill me for the highlighters and the post-it notes.
Hey, I was going to donate some. I might have extra books too. I got them back from Haba.
Love it. I love it. Just give them like I swear to God, just set each of them up with a Kindle account and like download the books to each Kindle and just be like, there you go, you got this. I have a bunch of credits on there. We're good.
And so you were familiar with having a conversation with English on scene?
Yes, sir.
You had a conversation with him without a lawyer or anybody else present?
Yes, sir.
At this point in time, sure. And we'll offer this as defense 5. 3? Defense 3. This has already been looked at, but this is the unmuted copy of what Mr. Chow said. That makes sense. The state has already offered a muted copy under the rules of what they're required. Now we're just offering the unmuted copy.
Okay. And be admitted as defense 3 without defense 3 without objection.
What was there? Was that a like cat fight?
They've been catfighting this whole time.
Who is that in the video?
Okay.
That is me.
Okay, and this is the conversation you were talking about that you were having with the officer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we go to play it?
So I was at the register and we were watching it because I didn't want to
Hit pause for me.
So this would be hearsay, right?
Well, they're introducing the state introduced this exhibit before with Mr. Cho's statements muted out because that would have been hearsay.
Oh.
But now that he's on the stand, the defense is introducing it, and since he's available for cross, it's not hearsay.
Interesting.
Like it isn't hearsay, or it's quote not hearsay.
It's not hearsay because it's being testified by the person who said it.
Okay, right.
Well, I counted them there. Right. I mean, and then you kept going.
No, I have to look at my rule.
Go ahead, Di.
Oh, I was just gonna say I gotta look at my rule. I thought under 803 that was what I was peeking at, where the objection would be, but if it's already in court, I'm like all mixed up now.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird how it came in because they introduced it, but the state had redacted Cho's statements because they would have been hearsay because, he wasn't on their witness list. So he was on the defense list. So they muted out Cho's statements and just played English's part of it because Officer English testified earlier. So he was available for cross-examination.
Sure. But wouldn't Chow then, wouldn't those be admissions from a party opponent?
Well, no, this is the son, not the defendant.
Oh, All right.
Two different
Okay.
shows. Yeah, this is the son who's testifying now, and then I don't think
Okay, makes sense
I
now.
don't think
Sorry.
the Cho that the dad testifies, but I know Andy Cho did. So yeah, he's the first one. Okay.
That's when I caught him again. And we were about like, there was like 2 fights. Like right on top. And I saw he pulled out a gun. Where's that weapon at now? It was right there. Next to that second tree. Where the other 2 people are. Okay, where's your dad's weapon? It might be on him right now.
Okay. So you're telling the officer what happened at this point, you know?
Yes, sir.
And you had mentioned pulling out a firearm right then and there.
Yes, sir.
And you did the little finger gesture.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you continue telling this officer what had happened on that scene?
He walked away from me.
And he walked away as you were telling him what happened.
Yes, sir.
And then you ended up talking to another officer.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to tell that other officer fully what happened? Or more?
Yes, sir.
You didn't tell this officer to walk away, did you?
No, sir.
You didn't tell him to go away.
No, sir.
Did he ask you any details about your statement whatsoever?
No, sir.
And there's one line in there where you say, I'm on top of him. Did he say, what did that mean?
No, sir.
What did that mean when you say I'm on top of him? Did you actually physically get on top of this young man?
No, sir.
So what did that mean when you say that?
I was about
What the fuck else would you mean when you said I got on top of him? Like, I'm sorry. This is wild.
arm's length. I was close enough to be able to touch him, but I did not touch him.
And then you give, and I see you talk with your hands.
Yes, sir.
Did you have another conversation with Officer Carter as he got on the scene? Or another officer, you may not
Yes,
know his name.
another officer, yes.
And tell me what you told him.
I told him we thought he stole something. Or I thought he stole something, and so I chased him and followed him down to where the scene was. And I said he pulled a gun out, and I gestured to the side, pointing to the side with the gun. And then I say I backed up with my hands up, and then I see my dad yell, or I say that he has a gun, and I see my dad yell no, or drop the gun, drop it, no, and then he pulls it and fires.
And you told all this to Officer Carter.
Yes, sir.
And I think you said you did some hand gestures. So one was the first hand gesture you did when you talked to Officer Carter?
I said he had pulled a gun out, and I gestured to the side, pointing it.
And so you did the gesture and then he's pointing at you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then what did you do next?
And then I put my hands up, and I said I'm backing up.
Okay, and you did this on the video?
Yes, sir.
And that's the video right next to when this whole thing happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nobody was telling you what to say?
No, sir.
What to do?
No, sir.
No lawyer?
No, sir.
No conversation with your phone?
No, sir.
This is his witness, sir.
Ask him fucking answer.
Slow down for the court reporter, man.
Just go on. I mean,
And then I gesture. That's when my dad shot him. After that,
Andy, how did you feel when there was a gun pointed at you?
like terrified.
What did you think was going to happen?
I thought he was going to shoot me.
Who?
Young man.
Did you think you were going to die?
Yes,
Why?
because I saw the barrel just pointing straight at me.
And you actually described
I
the
don't
barrel, didn't
even
you?
know,
Yes, sir.
lol.
How did you describe the barrel of the weapon that was pointed at you on that day?
I said it was a silver barrel, and the rest of it was black.
Showing you what's been marked. Well, before you described the firearm, had you seen it again since it was pointed directly at you?
No, sir.
Had anyone showed it to you on scene?
No, sir.
Did you go up and look at it and examine it?
No, sir.
Is that
And your
going to be the gun?
description,
Yeah, nobody could find out it was a Taurus and look up what that looks like. That would be crazy shit.
And I'm
That's-
sure he didn't look at it after his dad picked it up off the ground. And he said he saw his dad pick it up off the ground and toss it. So you didn't look at the gun again after he
Right.
pointed it at you, but you also just testified that you watched your dad pick it up and throw it. That better come up on cross, not holding my
Mhm.
breath.
Yep.
You know
Yep,
it
yep.
won't. I swear to God. Just sweet baby Jesus. These prosecutors are terrible.
what was the barrel?
A silver barrel.
A silver barrel.
Yes, sir.
You ever had a gun pointed at you before?
No, sir.
This is a baby. Give it a few years,
Now, at
dude.
this point in time, we offer Detective Carter body-worn camera into evidence if the state wants us to wait for Detective Carter and do it as identification only. At this point in time, we offer this to support claim of recent fabrication.
At this point, just identification. We don't have any objection. He's already, I guess, cited what he believes he said in the video.
Right, I'll allow you to have a mark for identification.
And I don't think I cannot publish it at this point in time until Officer Carter testifies.
Yeah, no.
Right. Y'all were reading that.
Yeah, that's oh, I'm sorry. I heard publish. I'm sorry. No. I said I was not until Officer Carter comes just to be happy for sorry. Andy, you are and we've been talking about this, and we've watched your demeanor on the video, the 911. Pretty calm guy?
Yes, sir.
How were you yelling, he's got a gun? Or were you just saying it like you talk right now, he's got a gun?
No, sir.
How were you saying it?
I was yelling it.
Yell it. How were you yelling it?
He's got a gun. He's got a gun.
When you said it, were you scared?
Yes.
And who was around you when you were saying it?
My dad.
This guy, Mr. Chow.
Yes, sir.
Your father. Yes.
Yes, sir.
And he knows you.
Yes, sir.
I would assume your whole life.
Yes, sir.
What do you believe would have happened had Mr. Chow not shot that gun that day?
Speculation.
I would have died.
Let's see if they say it.
Did you actually see the barrel pointed at you?
Yes, sir.
Leading.
And I want to go back and talk about the things that have happened in the store, because there's been a lot of comments on things that happened in the store.
Who gives
that day,
a
Andy.
fuck?
And the first question is going to be asked, you chased this kid out of the store. And you accused him of shoplifting, right? I mean, you accused him of shoplifting.
Leading.
I did.
Compound question.
You didn't find any water.
I did not find it.
Why in the world did you think he shoplifted anything?
Speculation.
Because of what happened in the store.
But tell the jury again, because, I mean, that's the whole question. Why did you...
I think we need Law moonlighting over in the Columbia, South Carolina prosecutor's office.
Oh my gosh, if it's this much of a mess, you gotta stay away from there.
That's valid.
think he had done something wrong?
So I see he's at the water cooler, and I believe he pocketed something. He had his back to me, so I couldn't see. And so when he was walking to the front, and I asked him if he had anything in his pocket, he kept his hands in his pocket, and I saw his fingers kind of pushing against the hoodie pocket to try to hide what was in there. And then when he goes out the door, but his hand's not in the pocket, I see something heavy just way down. And so in my mind, I believed he had stolen something.
Showing you a screenshot that has been entered from one of the videos presented by the state of South Carolina. Do you recognize it?
Yes, sir.
What are we looking at?
He's doing something with it. He's either putting down the backpack or picking it up. I think he's putting it down.
Your Honor, but you do recognize it?
Yes, sir.
You recognize it from the day that we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
And it's substantially similar to the videos, the security footage that you have seen?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this point in time, I'm going to move this in as defense exhibit 4.
Can you check?
This backpack better be fucking
Photograph be admitted as exhibit 5.
While they're doing that, I'm going to show you a second screen clip from a video entered by the state of South Carolina and ask you to recognize that.
Yes, sir.
Is that a stream clip from the same video that we were just talking about?
Yes, sir.
And is that the same image of the young man who was in the store that day?
Yes, sir.
And that is from a vantage point you would have seen and recognized?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this point in time, we would offer the second picture that we just talked about as Defense Exhibit 6.
No objection?
Yeah, it's no objection.
All right, so being noted as Defense Exhibit 6 without objection.
All right, so the first one we're looking on the screen with, you had said that you had seen the young man in the back doing something with water,
Yes, sir.
and then you saw something heavy in his pocket,
Yes, sir.
and you would assume that he still had water in his pockets, correct?
Yes, sir.
Leading.
I'd want more foundation too.
I want to be clear. I swear to God, I'm going to try this out for myself. Even those little 8-ounce waters. I'm going to put my, I think I have a Ruger. I'm going to put my Ruger in my pocket and I'm going to see if I can tell the difference between that and a fucking water bottle. I just feel like they look different in a hoodie pocket. Maybe it's just me. But
Yeah.
it just doesn't seem the same. I think I think my Ruger's about that size. So I'm going to try it out at some point because I just need to know. Feel like it looks a little different than a bottle of fucking water.
Sometimes though, when there's shoplifting going on, and when I used to work at a gas station, like I would be like, I don't care what it is, just get out.
Yes.
Right? But I think because it was the owner and like the owner's son, they're like, you're not going to get this free water. And then it's turned to this hellish nightmare. Like, is it worth it for the water? # no, it's not.
I hope he had to pay the shit out of that defense team. I hope he had to finance his store and his fucking house for it, or refinance it, or whatever they have to fucking do. I hope it just at least hit him financially. I know it's not the same, but I hope he had to pay out the ass for it. That's my want and my hope right now.
It's a good question. Are they going to file civilly law after this? What do you think?
Yeah, I think they should. Yeah, it's pretty fresh, so I'm sure there's some attorneys. I'll send a text to Ben Crump and see if he's been reached out to by the family. So I think that could be a good demonstrative if they wanted to do it on cross to like have, hey, can you tell the difference? But I think the stronger case for the state would be to just ask, are you allowed to kill people over about stealing a bottle of water? Like, just let that sit with the jury and let that no come out.
Hey, that's for voir dire. Holy crap! You see that in front of a jury here? They're like, mistrial, leave, get out.
No, I think maybe not that abruptly, but like in the process now. Based on your understanding, has your dad ever shot anybody for shoplifting before? No.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Is that part of your normal practice is to use deadly force against shoplifters? No, you can get around it. Yeah, the way I said it probably would have been a little too mistrial-y.
Well, you could do it in the opening statement too if you're dancing around it because you've got more room to work that in.
That's true.
I love it though. Do that.
Apparently there had been some like previous negative interactions with Rick Chow and a few customers, and like somebody asked me about this and I was like, I'm gonna have to take the same line I would take on the Alex Preddy situation. Previous negative situation seems like more prejudicial than probative. I was like, I'm not saying they couldn't admit it, but I'm saying like, fair, you got to kind of keep that same line. That was my thought on it. I don't know the extent or what happened, but that was my thought on it.
My goodness, Cass, are you using Rule 403 to assess the situation?
It's one of my favorites.
I love you more now than I ever have before.
Sister. You could get some of the like propensity evidence in if he testified. So if they had made some testimony about his peaceful conduct, or how he's generally a a very calm and and rational person who's nonviolent, and then you could bring in other people to say, no, he threatened me with a gun when I tried to, when I was in a store, or he chased me out. You could bring that into, if they bring character up as an issue, they open the door and you can attack their character. But if he's not taking the stand, you can't bring in any of that character evidence.
Well, unless somebody else testifies to it, which is tricky and very unlikely. But yeah, I mean, the defense would have to open the door, and then the prosecutors are like, let me go get the 15 people I have waiting in the hallway.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice. Not the 15. These probably wouldn't have one person waiting in the hallway because they're just, this is really disappointing me. I'm just saying.
And now showing you, that's the same picture of the same young man, if we could zoom in on that front couch. And this is from the vantage point where you were looking at.
Yes, sir.
And this is, tell me what you thought, what you were looking at here. What did you think you were looking at?
It's just a baby.
At this point, I didn't think much. I just saw he was putting down his backpack.
But you see something bulge in his front, correct?
Notice that they took the most unflattering photo to make it look more distorted right here. I'm not saying they manipulated it, but like clearly there's just something like weighing that pocket down. But they took a photo that made it almost look like he was pregnant right here. They really selected the best still they could find, because when we watch him walking through the store, we didn't see that kind of like belly, like, if that makes sense. At least I didn't observe that. I don't know if anybody else did, but
no. But in this case, I don't hate the player. I hate the game.
Yeah.
On defense, you pick whatever frame gives you the best the best support for your point.
no, I got you. I was just pointing it out because I'm like, they're trying to make it look real unflattering. So
Do you remember, either of you, do you remember during, Cass, you're probably too young, but the Trayvon Martin case over in Florida? I used that a
remember
lot
Trayvon
to, oh yeah, I used it a lot to explain how the evidence could work, what they used and what they didn't use. And I had forgotten, but they had made, basically it was like 50-50, like demonstrative exhibit, where they had put his black sweatshirt flat put it in between two pieces of plexiglass, so you could actually see where the holes were in the sweatshirt. So that was kind of one of those 403 questions, as if it's more probative than prejudicial. But I thought that was an amazing use of demonstrative evidence.
interesting. I didn't watch that case as hard as well, honestly, even if I did, I couldn't remember it now to save my life. I could barely remember what I had for breakfast, to be so real. So that's kind of where I'm living. But yes, that's interesting.
Yes, sir.
Didn't know what it was.
No, sir.
Now, while he's in the store, are you telling your dad, hey, something's fishy up here, something's weird up here, anything like that?
No, sir.
Having any conversations with him?
No, sir.
Any discussions with him?
No, sir.
With anybody other than your mother?
Leading.
I didn't say anything.
Anything at all?
No, sir.
So the decisions you were making that day, whose decisions were they?
Just mine.
And Andy, you realize, I mean, they're asking the question. You didn't have to go outside that store, did you?
I don't know. I didn't have to.
I mean, were you thinking about that at that point in time?
No, sir.
Were you trying to hurt this kid? Did you know him?
No, sir.
Were you chasing him to hurt him?
No, sir.
What in the world were you going to do if you actually caught up to him?
And what? Okay, he's okay. Sorry, I didn't catch that last part. I paused before, right as he was saying it. Hold on.
I didn't plan to catch up to him.
What do you mean you didn't plan to catch up with him? We've seen the video. You're going out there. What do you mean you didn't plan to catch up with him? Did you have a plan?
I just wanted to see where he was going, to tell the police later.
And there's been questions that this case is about 4 bottles of water. You've heard that.
Yes, sir.
When the gun was pulled on you, were you thinking about water?
No, sir.
Did you say, never mind, forget the water? At that point in time, did you say anything about water when this gun was pulled on you?
No, sir.
That's leading.
And you don't know this guy?
No, sir.
No problems with him?
No, sir.
By the way, it was a gray sweatshirt for Trayvon Martin. My bad, apologies. And I think the Smithsonian still has the sweatshirt.
Oh, man.
Did you have a gun on you that day?
I did not.
Did you say anything to him before he got shot?
Not directly to him, no.
All you remember saying is, he's got a gun, he's got a gun.
Yes, sir.
Now I want to go to that part of your testimony where your hands are up.
Okay.
And what were you saying when your hands are up?
He's got a gun.
At any point in time was the gun dropped when your hands were up?
No, sir.
It stayed on you?
Yes, sir.
So if I'm you, I'm saying, he's got a gun, he's got a gun! It's still being pointed at you.
Yes, sir.
And who was the person you were
While he's kneeling on the ground? What?
yelling? He's got a gun, he's got a gun! Who are you yelling that to?
To my dad.
And as you were yelling that with your hands up and a gun pointed at you, at some point in time you had testified your dad said something also. What was it?
He said, drop it, and no.
Was it dropped or was it still pointed at you?
Still pointed at him.
The barrel?
Yes, sir.
And what were you looking at?
I was.
Well, you were chasing him, so he defended him. I don't fucking. I hate
Nightmare. It's a nightmare.
It was still pointed at you, and then he was shot in the back. Fascinating.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a really good point, actually.
Interesting.
I was looking at my dad at that time.
Were you scared?
Yes, sir.
And again, what did you think was going to happen had your dad not fired?
I was gonna shot.
And immediately after the shot, your dad told you to do what?
Call 911.
And immediately after calling 911, we hear your dad trying to perform life-saving measures on you.
Yes, sir.
And this is something you saw directly.
Yes, sir.
Leading.
You beg, of course, indulgence for 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And thank you so much. I'd like you to answer any questions that the state of South Carolina has for you, okay?
Okay.
Cross-examination.
Yes, sir. One more break. Or
You want to go ahead and take a break? Break time.
comfort break?
Okay, I understand. All right, well, let's take, we won't very long. We'll take about a 15-minute break. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. And again, please don't discuss the case. We'll be right back with you.
Park Lane Road, correct?
Yes, sir.
You were 20 years old at Hammond Academy, correct? And you were 23 years old, correct?
Yes, sir.
In 2023, you were 20 years old, correct?
Yes, sir.
And at the time, you were a student at USC, is that true?
Yes, sir.
And you had already graduated at Hammond Academy, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I ask any questions that you need me to repeat, I'm happy to do.
Okay,
You
yes,
had
sir.
graduated at Hammond at the time?
Yes, sir.
And that is a private school here in Columbia, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you swam on the swim team, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you get any college scholarships?
No, sir.
You were 5'11", 200 pounds at the time, correct?
Around that.
Yeah. Have
Down
you
the court
mentioned before
reporter.
that at the time you were 5'11", 200 pounds?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How much do you weigh now?
185.
Okay, so you were significantly bigger at the time.
Significant.
15 pounds bigger.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At the time you were working at your parents' Shell gas station at 7441 Park Lane Road, correct?
Yes, sir.
And they had owned that store about 10 to 12 years at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how long did you work there?
Well, I came to help for, I guess, since we opened.
You were familiar with the store, is that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and had you become aware of the crime of shoplifting in your time working in the store and being around the store?
Yes, sir.
All right, what is shoplifting?
someone stole something.
Okay. And that happened more than once in the 10 to 12 years your parents had owned the store as of 2023?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Had you developed a policy, or had your parents developed a policy in dealing with shoplifters?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
These questions, he's like petering out on like his set. Like he's just like, fucking, I swear to God.
In 2023, you were studying computer information systems, isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And your father was familiar with computers and computer technology as well, isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
He had actually taught a small college as far as lessons in computers, correct?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true? Computers can do amazing things.
Yes, sir.
Okay? They can
Prosecution just likes
help
to
with
throw out
DNA
dog
extraction
shit.
and going through millions of propositions, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay? They're able to synthesize surveillance systems and produce high-quality videos, isn't that correct?
They can.
Okay. And you yourself and your parents at the Shell gas station at 7441 Park Lane Road had a very sophisticated surveillance system, isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were able to identify
Exactly,
shoplifters
Lau.
with that system, were you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you had a wall of shame above the cash register, isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
What is the wall of shame?
There's pictures and descriptions of past shoplifters.
Okay. And that's States 44, Stephanie? Do you recognize the wall of shame in States 44?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So weird they're just walking up to him. That's really weird to me.
Andy, while she pulls up, what is the purpose of the wall of shame?
To show who and what they stole.
Okay. What is the purpose of showing who and what stole, or who stole and what they stole?
To show other customers.
Okay. And to show law enforcement?
They can if they come in.
Okay. And if somebody steals and makes your wall of shame and they come back in, are you able to identify them?
Me, myself, or
Anyone. I mean, why would you have the wall of shame? Why would you have a picture of the shoplifter up? It's to identify them, right?
it can be.
So if you recognize somebody who's on the wall of shame and they come back in, what do you do?
What I would do would be
What is the store policy at 7441 Park Lane Road, Shell gas station in 2023? What is the policy when somebody who's on the wall of shame comes back in the store?
I would ask him to leave.
Okay. Now, you see all the people on the wall of shame in 2023?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. How many of those people did you chase?
Did I chase?
Yeah.
None.
Okay. You don't remember chasing any of those people that stole?
I did not chase anyone.
Okay. I see a number of other
Finally, they're
pictures here of
bringing it
people. You
around.
see the lotto tickets right there, and I don't know, Stephanie, can you zoom in on this? What's that guy? What's he doing there? Right there up under the monitor of the cash register.
Probably the same thing as the same as the other pictures.
Okay. Stephanie, can you zoom out, please? Scroll over to see the clock on the wall there? Zoom in up under that camera. You see that, Andy? What are these people?
Could be the same thing
What's the same thing?
as the other pictures.
Okay. So you agree with me that you have a sophisticated surveillance system in there that is capable of generating high-quality pictures of people you suspect of committing a crime, correct? You want me to ask that?
To me, it wouldn't be the highest. It wouldn't be high quality, but it's enough to see their face.
You don't consider these videos we've been watching high quality?
It can be higher,
Okay, well, maybe not movie quality,
but you can see their face. Yes.
Okay. And there's
Didn't you say it was a petabyte law or some shit like that?
1.21 petabytes. Great, Scott.
nothing to stop you guys from taking these pictures and sending them into law enforcement, correct? There's nothing to stop you. That is it?
No, sir.
Okay. And you certainly know how to use 911, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you've done it in the past, correct?
I have not.
I could have sworn, when your lawyer was up here, you were talking about a 911 call. I could have sworn I heard your voice on a 911 call. Did I imagine that?
I thought you meant before that.
You've used 911 before.
Yes, sir.
And you use 911 to get law enforcement involved, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you use 911 when you see something illegal going on, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you use 911
Great Scott.
to get law enforcement who's paid to do their job to come help, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Crappy job.
Yes, sir.
How do you use 911?
You dial 911?
Very easy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have a phone.
I would have been the biggest fucking smartass had it had been me on that stand and been like, well, SCOTUS said, you know, there's no guarantee that they have to protect me, but that's just me. Sorry.
Phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, in 2023, you were working behind the cash register, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the cash register is raised up a little bit higher than the rest of the floor, correct?
Yes, sir.
You got a pretty good view of the floor and the surrounding, correct?
Yes, sir.
Stage 68, please. Who is that fellow right there with the hat on backwards and the North Face pullover?
It's me.
Okay. And what are you looking at?
The young man.
Okay. I'm just looking to, you see right over there to your left, there's another picture of some other people in the,
These must all be stipulated.
isn't that some more people right there that you got pictures of, right?
Previously introduced.
You can look right here, and you see these people here, and what did they do? Or did they shoplift, or why would you have pictures of some people back here?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but you have pictures of customers behind the counter too?
We did.
Okay. And you look right here, there's some more people right here that you got pictures of. Right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about this guy right here. This tablet to your right, what is that?
It shows if a person who is in the system.
What? Tell me about a person in the system.
So they need to be entered into it.
Explain what you're talking about. Use your words.
Okay. So all I know is that their picture needs to be entered into it.
Whose picture?
Being a bit rude and taking a stick.
Okay.
If I just went and pumped gas there, you put my face in the system?
No, sir.
Whose face do you put in the system?
There are employees. My face is in there. There are shoplifters.
Okay. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about the shoplifters that you enter into your system, and then you have access to them from that tablet. Tell me how that works.
So if they are in the system, they and they come into the store,
right?
Then they will pop up on that tablet.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have facial recognition technology at 7441 Park Lane Road, the Shell station you're
Now
correct?
we know why they
Yes,
brought it up
And that is rather
6,000
sophisticated
fucking
equipment,
times.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any of these people who've shoplifted in the past, committed the crime of shoplifting, if you review your camera, go back and you realize the Snicker bar is gone because it's missing from inventory, right? You can go back and review the camera and you can say, aha, this person stole Snickers, right?
You could, yes, sir.
You could do that. How many different camera angles you got in that store? You even know?
I wouldn't.
I mean, you would agree with me, that's a lot.
There, yes, sir.
Over 20, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can get multiple different angles of the person's face, correct?
Yes, sir.
Most likely you can see what kind of shoes they're wearing.
Yes, sir.
You could probably identify what kind of shorts or pants or dress they had on, correct?
Yes, sir.
You could identify the top they had on, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you can even zoom in to like look at different graphics on the shirt or whatever they have, correct?
Yes, sir.
You can look for different identifying characteristics of the clothing they're wearing.
Yes, sir.
You can zoom in on
Please
the
stop
face, correct?
asking the same
Yes, sir.
question.
And then you can put it into
500
facial
different
recognition
ways.
technology, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then if they ever came back in, you would get an alert, correct?
Yes, sir.
You could do all these things with the technology they had at 7441 Park Lane Road, could you not?
You could.
Where does he keep saying the address?
Now, you have been trained, you have gone to school
What kind of strategy?
and been trained, and your father has, to identify shoplifters, have you not?
Trained to identify them? I was not trained.
You weren't?
No, sir.
But you know how to identify one, correct?
If they're acting weird to me, that is.
What is acting weird to you?
If they keep looking up at me,
Okay.
they keep walking around the store, wandering around, and if they keep, checking the pocket or something. All of those combined.
I'm even thinking about times I've gone into a store and left my wallet in the car, walk around for a minute, and then I'll walk out. Would you put me in your database?
Well, this is the misogyny point of the testimony
I would
here.
not.
Would you consider me weird?
No, sir.
What if I have my hands in my pockets, I'm dressed like I am now, and I walked around and looked around and I couldn't find what I was looking for, so then I just walked out. Would you tell me that in my pockets?
No, sir.
Why?
You didn't touch anything.
Okay, but I had my hands in my pockets. I'm looking up at you, I'm looking down. Let's say I did. Let's say I took some waters out and I put them back. Would you chase me?
It would depend if I could see what you were doing. If I couldn't see, then I wouldn't know what you were doing.
You could see what Cyrus was doing, could you not?
Not completely, no, sir.
So you weren't sure. You weren't sure.
I believed he had pocketed something.
You believed he had.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why did you believe that?
Because of the things that happened in the store.
Okay. So he had his hands in his pockets.
Which would be?
Testified you watched him when he walked in.
I saw him walk in.
Yeah. So he put his backpack down.
Yes, sir.
Correct. And then the defense offered defense 6, and you said, yeah, that's how he looked when he came in.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If he had a bulge in his pocket when he came in, why wouldn't he have a bulge in his pocket when he left? This is your
Now,
decision.
that's
I was mainly just
question.
seeing him.
That's the question you should be asking. He came in, arguably, right? He's coming in with the same things he's exiting with. He doesn't bring the book bag in, so the gun doesn't get introduced into the pocket midway through the store. He had the same bulge or whatever when he came in as when he exited. That's a reasonable question. My opinion, anyway. It's the first good question I think these fuckers have asked.
Put the backpack on the...
Under direct, you told the lawyer that this is how he looked, and this is what you saw when he came in the store.
Yes, sir.
Clearly has a bulge in his pocket when he comes in the store. Why would he have a bulge in his pocket when he left the store?
I was not focused on the bulge when he came in.
You just testified that this is what he looked like, and this is what his pocket looked like when he came in.
Looking at the picture, yes, sir.
You identified this as being him, how he looked when he came in.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I ask you again, if he had a bulge in his pocket when he came in, why would you harass him and say he's got a bulge in his pocket when he left? You see what I'm saying?
I did not notice the bulge when he came in that day.
Okay.
Oh, why would you do
This is the
that?
bulge. I saw that he
How many
had.
times are we going to say the word bulge?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's starting to feel like when Justice Jackson goes on the thrusts. What's up, Law?
Well, he had the hint there. He asked the one question too many. He already put it in the jurors' minds that, hey, he had the bulge when he came in, right? And by referencing the video, and he had the bulge when he left, and he said yes. Great, that's all you need. Now the jury's thinking, oh well, shit, yeah, that makes sense. But he asked another question about the fucking bulge and gave the witness the opportunity to say, I didn't notice it when he came in. Oh, cool. Now now that's in the jury's mind.
Yeah, we lost it.
Yeah. Once you get the inference in, you stop asking questions.
Well, it was the first good question. Like, he was actually doing so good. He pointed out the wall of shame, albeit he went on about it too fucking long, but he pointed this shit out, and he's like, you have all these systems in place. He was doing exactly what I wanted him to. And then they keep shitting the bed. I don't know how this is possible. I feel like even statistically, I could magic 8-ball this shit and not shit the bed this many times in a row.
It's hard though sometimes when you are trying to get everything that you've taken notes on from opposing counsel, and then you're asking the questions. Sometimes you kind of, lose your place, or you just keep going because we're attorneys and we talk forever. But this to me seems like a danger. It's not dangerous. I'm sorry. Damaging to his case, not being able to clip it and be like, great, let's move to the next piece.
Yeah, that's always the risk. And this is the part, when you're doing cross, this is where you have to be quick-witted, and this is where that logical and strategic thinking comes in, that you have to be able to quickly formulate, okay, what do I need to get to prove my case out of this witness? What do I need to do to mitigate whatever the defense just brought up? And you have to build this into your whole strategy, because you already know what you're going to try to get for your case out of the witness. The hard part is thinking on your feet and figuring out how you're going to mitigate what the defense just got out of him. But in regards to the wall of shame and the facial recognition, it took him a little too long to get there, but those were all really important things to get out about what's their standard practice for dealing with shoplifters, and that this was a deviation from their standard, practices and policies. But God damn, that with that one question too many, giving him the opportunity to say, I didn't see the bulge when he walked in. Everything you just did about the bulge up before that is irrelevant now.
Well, and my question too, though, Law, is if you're asking and you're taking so long to get those foundational questions answered, is it you're going to remember, like, oh my God, remember when he went on for like 5 minutes? They remember that, or are they going to remember the point he was trying to get to?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is
Brevity.
like that whole wall of shame thing. It should have been like 5 questions. Now, tell me about the wall of shame. Or actually, you can lead now. So yeah, you've got a wall of shame of shoplifters up, right? And that's so that you can recognize shoplifters, correct? Yep. And you do that so that once you've identified a shoplifter, you can deny them entry into the store again, right? You also have facial recognition software, right? And that's does very much the same thing. You put shoplifters in there, and then you can identify them when they come in, right? Like that's all you needed. You didn't need to go into how many camera angles there are and all that kind of stuff, because none of that's going to matter for the jury as far as when they're deliberating your case.
Yeah, exactly. Like I honestly, he was going somewhere so good with that, and then we got into how many cameras are there? 20 cameras? Are there fucking, like where are they pointed? Do you have upskirt cameras? At some point, I felt like he might have asked that if we had let him keep going. But like, I just, the brevity and the like, your one question too many. Yeah, it's just,
and that can make or break a case too, depending on what that question is. The other thing I had too that I thought was weird was he kept asking, he's like, oh, well, are you studying computers? Is your dad studying computers?
Why is that fucking, who cares?
I was wondering if he was going to try to go down the road of being like, did you doctor some stuff up? But then it was like, no, then like, why do we spend so much time on that? I mean, you don't need that much to get an introduction of foundation to the judge, so why not move along?
Well, he asked too many questions about it. Like just saying that they could I guess maybe work this computer system properly that they have with the facial recognition. I can understand just like a question, like you study computers, your dad study, something like that, or you're skilled with whatever, you may think is the best way to phrase that question. But when it gets into the we have 5 or 10 questions about this, I need Law to teach a brevity class, and I'm going to need you to put that on YouTube. Thank you so much, Law. Love that.
Thanks, Law. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it'll help me so much.
It has to be a real case. It has to be a real case to help Cass, okay?
I just work here. That's all I do. I hang out with you guys and I just work here because I have no brevity skills. And I know that that's a shortcoming of mine, and I'm okay with it. Okay.
In his pocket. This is your exhibit that you just introduced to the lawyer. This is
in the picture I see. In the picture I see the bulge.
Okay. You see any water bottles in his pocket?
I cannot see in the pocket. No, sir.
Well, why you identified something black and a bulge in his pocket? See that?
I did.
I don't think he said black.
The reason this is an evidence is because you identified it through your lawyer.
Okay.
You don't recognize this from 10 minutes ago.
I mean, I see the shadow of the pocket, yes, sir.
Do you see a water bottle in his pocket?
I cannot see into his pocket.
What do you see in his pocket?
Sorry.
Can we?
If you couldn't see in his pocket, why did you assume he stole something?
In the picture,
exactly.
States number 5. I'm going to just point it to you. Do you not see something black in his pocket?
To me, I just thought that was just the shadow of the pocket.
Does it look like a water bottle to you?
Does not.
Okay. All right. With all the surveillance systems they had at 7441 Parkland Road, and with all the technology and the facial recognition, okay? Could we have hung this 14-year-old boy's picture up on the wall of shame? Couldn't we have done that?
Well, you could have put his picture?
Yeah, on the wall of shame with all those other people, right? Couldn't we have done that?
You could have.
What would have stopped you from doing it?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Stop.
Is there anything that would have stopped us from going back and printing all these pictures up of the boy with the white Air Force Ones, the black Nike joggers, the red Child's Play hoodie. He never covered his face, did he?
That's too far.
not.
He never covered his hoodie,
Yeah.
did he?
He did not.
Too
We
far on
got
that one.
hundreds of still shots we could provide law enforcement, could we not?
Could you? You could.
You could. Is there anything that stops you guys from doing that?
No, sir.
Okay. And how long does it take to call 911? How many seconds does it take, you think, for you to hit 3 buttons on your cell phone?
A second.
1 second? Is there anything that stopped you on that day from using 1 second of your time to dial 911?
Nothing stopped me.
No. And you know how to use 911 because you used it before, correct?
Yes, sir.
This
You used it on that day,
attorney
correct?
Yes.
Nothing stopped you from using it.
Do what?
I said, this attorney sucks.
Oh, I thought you
man.
said this jury sucks, and I'm like, well,
Oh, no,
yeah,
never to the
kind
jury.
of, but you know,
Never do the jury.
don't do the jury dirty, Attorney Di.
That's right.
They just made it off of whatever they gave them, and yes, the prosecution is just not my favorite in this. They're absolutely horrifying.
No, sir.
And you certainly have a cell phone that's capable of connecting to 911, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But we didn't do any of that on this particular day, did we?
Not until after.
Yeah, it's a little late after, right? Andy, think about it. I'm asking you. Could we not, if we suspect this 14-year-old, how many waters did you think he took?
I'm not sure.
How many do you think he took?
Maybe just one.
One. How much in the year 2023 does a bottle of water cost at 7441 Parkland Road in Richland County at the Shell gas station operated by the Chow family? How
Okay,
much does one bottle of water
Still
cost?
relevance.
not sure.
Relevance?
You don't remember how much they cost?
Oh, sorry. I meant to. We're gonna go for maybe 15 more minutes, and then I gotta go to bed because it's late and it's a Monday for everybody. If everybody's okay with that, maybe just it's like a little bit longer. I wanted to get through all of Andy Chow today, but like he's on the stand for at least another hour. So
yeah.
we got plenty to get through.
And he's probably defense's only witness, so I think we'll have enough for tomorrow night for sure.
Okay, for sure, Z's. I guess let's watch just a little bit more, and then we'll get back into it tomorrow. Or we can have a discussion for a little bit, and then we'll get back into it. Or do y'all want to stop it here right now? Or y'all good with that?
I'm feeling like you're wanting to kind of cut it, Hein, and this is your show. So
I know, but I feel bad. Like, if y'all are really into the testimony, I don't want to just dead end it somewhere. Like, I feel like that would be rude.
Yeah, because I think this is fine if you wanted to wrap it up here.
Okay. All right. So, thoughts so far, I guess, because this is a hot freaking mess. And he's taking way too long. The fact that he's got another like hour and a half or so on this stand with this prosecutor tells me this guy is asking, he's doing the same shit. He's asking like 20 extra questions when he just needs 5. That's what I'm feeling like is going to happen here.
I think you have to be careful not to miss anything in case, as a prosecutor, like you don't want to miss anything because you don't want it to come back somehow you screwed the case up and had, whatever, mistrial, etc. So you have to be careful with that. The other thing too, though, and I don't know why this was, but as a prosecutor, I felt like every question I had to build a bridge to. Like I had to start walking them down that road and be like, you remember? And then they would. And then I'd have to start another bridge. And I'm like, okay, well, what about on Friday? Let's talk about that. So it just, I guess I haven't seen a lot of prosecutors that are more stealthy, or in my opinion, it's like asking clean questions are dirty. And for me, it's like, well, I haven't seen a lot of prosecutors that have been like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're done, let's go. But that I think would have been so incredibly helpful if I did.
Yeah, I mean, generally, you can either go at it with a scalpel or with a sledgehammer, and this guy's picking the sledgehammer. He's not making precision.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not making precision cuts into the defense's narrative. He's not. He's focusing entirely too much on the shoplifting, which is essentially irrelevant to the actual use of force and the charge. I mean, this should have been a very quick introduction, and the bulk of this should be about the necessity for the use of force, and that's what you want the jury to walk away with. If you've got them falling asleep after 20 minutes by the time of talking about cameras and walls of shame, by the time you get to the important part about the angle of the shot and how could you have a gun pointed at you while he shot in the back, those are the things that the jury's should be thinking about. But if not, you want red lights and sirens on that portion of it. But right now they're going to be tuning you out because you spent 20 minutes asking about cameras and photos.
Correct. So a couple of questions. So just for clarity, because I know I kind of paused and I was having, issues figuring out whether I wanted to run this mic or turn on my video, because, it'd be like that sometimes. So I'll skip back a few minutes when I start tomorrow night, so that way you can get clarification. I think there was a water question and a few others. They wanted to know the answer to that. So I'll go back we'll start at an hour and 55 minutes. This is day 3 of the Rick Chow trial. If you want to see days 1 and 2, Law's been here every day. Attorney Di has been here most of the days. And we had a few other friends kind of come up and join and give their perspective as well. But it's on my YouTube. So you can get some commentary on that. And then let's see, what was the other question? Were they near an interstate with high crime? That area is a poor area, but I can't speak to the crime level involved. What was the store policy on handling shoplifters? They had a wall of shame. That was generally how they handled them, which was the first part of this, the 45 questions he asked about the wall of shame. That was pretty much how they dealt with shoplifters. And then, but it would have stated state of mind. Why did you decide to police a shoplifter? I get you. We'll get more into this testimony. This is the defense's witnesses. I want to say they had 3 from what I read, but I could be mixing it up with other cases because things run together in my head because I can't remember what I had for breakfast most of the time, so apologies.
There's a lot going on. Going on right now.
Yeah. But did y'all have any additional thoughts on what we watched tonight? The prosecution continues to disappoint me. That's all I really got. Just a big what the fuck. Maybe.
Yeah, what the fuck is an appropriate appropriate reaction. The prosecution, when I saw this, I was I immediately jumped to conclusions about racism and things like that, and the jury I think is 4 or 5 persons of color, so close to half, and what just has blown my mind is just the complete absence of a coherent narrative from the state. They utterly failed to overcome the claim of self-defense in their case in chief,
Agreed.
which is their burden. Which once it's raised in South Carolina, it's the burden then shifts to the state to disprove self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt. So not only do they have to prove an intentional homicide beyond a reasonable doubt, they have to disprove self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's very difficult. And they danced around the edges of it, but that's when you need the sledgehammer is when your duty is the elements that you need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. That's where you hit with the sledgehammer. You do the scalpel on the things that help you get there, but you need to pound those elements. And I can't think of any, the closest they got was talking about the angles of the shooting and putting a little seed in there. Maybe they're going to clean it up a little bit more here, but based off of what I've seen, I'm not optimistic.
I feel like the prosecutor was either, because usually this is the kind of crap you see with a very young green attorney, but I'm wondering if we're on the flip side of it, where we've got a bit of a dinosaur up there that's just doing and going about it like he always has, rather than recognizing there's a better way to do it and a better way to present it to the juries. But, I hate to pick on the dinosaurs, but I think that might be what's going on here with the state.
I think the attorney who did the opening maybe.
I'd imagine that they. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I think he may be the lead attorney on this case. I'll have to double check, but he did look like an older black gentleman. I can't speak to age because I'm not a fucking wizard and I can't guess that shit. But he did look a little bit older. So it's possible you're correct, Attorney Dye. I'm not sure. Law's gonna go look it up.
No, I'm having some country Wi-Fi issues, so.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. Bad strategy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my best guess is these guys have probably not tried a ton of homicide cases against private defense attorneys. Generally, in poorer areas, when you're trying a homicide case, it's against a public defender, which of course I'm not going to throw any shade at, but a public defender just simply can't devote the amount of time to a homicide case as a private attorney can. When you're paying them $200,000 or $300,000 for your defense, you get a whole lot of their attention, and that's just not something you get with a public defender.
Correct. May have more time for you. I love public defenders. I work for one. Like, no shade towards public defenders. They're just out there doing their best, man. But yeah, you may get a little bit more attention or likely will when you're paying them, to Law's point, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if they're not giving you a lot of attention, you need to find a different one. That's all I'm saying. All right. Any more thoughts or final words or anything like that? I think I'm going to shut it down. I'm like getting sleepy and we'll probably be watching another live in 5 minutes because I can never go to bed, but I'm getting sleepy right now.
Were you in that like 4 a.m. live this morning? I can't remember. I was in somebody's live at like 4 a.m. and I saw you and I was like, hon, go to sleep.
I may have.
You don't have to answer that.
I may have fallen asleep with my TikTok on if it was sending me through stuff. That's potentially possible.
Okay.
Never know.
Oh, it cracks me up.
Any final words, guys? I'm sorry I'm cutting it off so early tonight. I'm beat. So, that's all I got. Check out the YouTube. Follow Law. Follow Attorney Dye. Do all the stuff. They're awesome, and they come in here and help me look at cases like this and do all the things. But thank you everybody who has come in. I'm sorry. Our string. I do start around 10 p.m. On weekdays. On the weekends, we just kind of all, do whatever. But I do start around 10 p.m. on weekdays. But we should be through this, I think, by the end of the week for surezies. We have day 3 and then day 4. So, and day 4 is the verdict day. So I don't know that we'll have much before that. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Law, I appreciate you as always. Attorney Dye, I appreciate you as well. And thank you so much. Bye, guys. Let me see. How do I...